We're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to Talking Story. I have got the number one first guest I wanted to get when I started to think about, you know what, they're going to take my Booktube card away if I don't invite other Booktubers on to talk with me. I've been invited to a couple other places. And, the man, the myth, the legend, coming this holiday season for Milton Bradley, the board game, Mike from Mike Book Review. Man, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. And you don't have to edit a thing tonight.
Hold on, we can't hear Mike.
It all falls on me. If you look anything other than everyone's number one mystery date, it's our fault. What? Jacob?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, man.
But you can hear Mike just
I
fine?
can hear him fine. This is, I know, right? This is this is a learning curve. Well, can they hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, Mike is very.
Make the audio not
I can hear you fine. Yeah. I think you know what. Andrew's right. This is why we hate OBS. Did it really? I told him. I told him it's probably so much easier to just go with whatever. But he says, "Yeah, but we can make it look better." And it's like, look what happened.
Is Mike just really quiet, or we just she's
No, he says people say they can't hear him like at all.
Okay. His mouth is moving, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
Fantastic news.
Yeah. Did you read that, Jacob?
Read what?
Ryan, look at Ryan's. He says, "We hear John because in OBS he is the audio input. For us to be able to hear John, the audio output needs to be the device John is using to listen." You sound great to me. Like dulcet tones. I think it's on our end, man. All right. I would just read comments, but my kid has so many windows open in front of it. I can't even read the comments. Oh, Brian at Beltube wants to know if you're saying on air through your microphone how much you love Name of the Wind right now. And everybody's missing it. All right, if we can't get it fixed, we're going to have to do what Beard of Darkness did for me and maybe reschedule or something. I was just watching his talk with Tori and he was I don't know what's that about. I feel like he's bringing the... Who does? Dude, he must spend so much time just reaching out to people. Like he is the king of it. You don't have to edit. I'm sad if I just like playing. Oh, man, you've already got me buying Pillars of the Earth. I don't know. I don't know if you can sway me for you'll probably sway me for Shogun once you start reading it. I just got to find a starter. It's a doorstop. Andrew is one of the finest people alive. Oh, there you go.
I think I figured it out.
Oh, say something, Mike. Did we figure it out?
Did we figure it out? Still can't hear him.
Still can't hear him.
Still can't hear him?
Bummer. I
Oh
check
my
my
God.
P.O. box once a week.
Hey, Mike, how often do you check your P.O. box?
No, we have audio of Mike now.
Oh, they're saying they can hear me now.
Okay, all right. What?
Outstanding. Hey, I'm just glad it wasn't my fault.
No, that was all. Come here, Jacob. I want to put a face to who this was. You know what? He's been so stressed, and he's been like testing this for like 2 days, so we wouldn't waste your time. It's this guy.
It doesn't matter how many times I'm ready to go. It's
Now we can
like
start.
I had everything worked out for that 100K live stream where I had like all those guests on. Of course, right when it happens, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You know what, though? I had that on at work the whole day. It was the coolest. Have you recovered from that? That was like 8 hours.
Man, we could have kept going. Probably could have kept going. It was just like, I know that other people just, I don't know. I started feeling bad when I think Mark from Slowly Read was there for like 7 hours. I started feeling bad. You know, like he felt like he couldn't leave or something. But
It was like, I mean,
that was a blast.
I was
mean,
at
wish
work
it worked
anyway,
better.
but it started to turn into like a hostage situation. Like, they're not going to let Mike go to bed. Like, this is not going to end.
No, that was like the old, like Jerry. This is how old I am. The old Jerry Lewis telethon days, man. I could have kept going. I could have done 24 hours.
I got
Great.
you beat, my brother. I remember when Jerry, towards the end, would come out and start singing What the World Needs Now, and I would cry. You know, yeah, no, I was there every year, man. You remember Saturday afternoons when it was Martin and Lewis movies after Abbott and Costello movies? And yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Oh,
But,
dude,
hey,
I'm
I
old.
remember when there was a Siskel and an Ebert.
I'm old. Oh, I remember when there was Siskel and Ebert. I've got you beat on years for sure. But we're both Gen X. So
That's it.
I'm going to take it from the top. I'm going to start over. When I decided they were going to take my booktuber card away if I didn't start inviting other booktubers to hang out, you were the number one person I wanted to start with. And I'm beyond thrilled that you are here to hang out with me. And you know what? I was commenting the other day on your channel, and I think it was after you put up that Curious King blade
First Law?
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is crazy, man. That is crazy. And I think you commented back like, right? Like, but you know what I was thinking after that, Mike? And you know who you give a gift like that to? Is family. And you have created this community, and we all tune in and watch your videos, and we all feel like we're part of a community and part of a family. And, you know, the more I thought about it, it's like, you know, it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all, because you have done this amazing job of creating such a safe, family, cool community for us, all of us book people to hang out with.
Thank you. I'm glad that comes through, because that was really a goal of mine when I started. Is like, really was just like, dude, why is everybody just so nasty to each other on the internet? So I wanted to make it something that was, you know, there was so much, you could have so much success if you go on YouTube and just act like a jerk. I mean, if you're just negative, like you go and look up like anything that's like talking about like, I don't know, Marvel movies or Star Wars movie stuff, and which I'm negative on as well, but I would never be like, you know, make a career out of it. And those people have had a lot of success doing that. But I was like, I don't want that kind of community.
Yeah.
I want, you know, something where people are actually just going to be nice to each other. That was a big goal for me, you know, by responding to every comment when I could, you know, respond to every single comment and stuff. And no matter how, even if they were nasty, you know, just fill them with kindness. It was kind of thing. I was always that big about, you know, be the change you want to see type is always kind of what I was taught by my parents. And that was the way I could do it. You know, hey, let's talk about something I love, like books. Cause I'm like, you know, there's not a lot of things that people can disagree with. Now, obviously that's changed over time. So a lot of people can be very, very nasty with the way that they disagree, but you know, that's just the world. But you know, it's 99.9% positive. And that's something that I want to make sure that I kind of filter. And that's why my Discord is just like, you know, pretty much my preferred social media at this point, is because, you know, it doesn't have all that that toxicity that some of the other bigger, social media sites do. So thank you for noticing that. I'm glad that comes
no,
through.
man, you make the rules on your own Discord, so it absolutely shows through. And even when you're negative, I know it's like, yeah, I'm not what. Yeah, I've heard you say I'm not watching the Star Wars thing. I'm not doing this. You're not
I don't
gonna.
like to be a wet blanket. If
You're not
you're
gonna
enjoying
get.
it, cool.
But then you say that it's like, hey, if you're enjoying it, fair play to you, man. Like you're not. It's not just like a rant. It's still, it's just, what I found. It's like what suffered for me since I started here is gaming, man. I used to game so much more, and it's like when you just start reading this much, like something has to give or take,
Yeah. Yeah. I say I got three. I have three hobbies: reading, the television, and gaming. As I only have time for two of them, and reading's pretty much locked. So I have to choose. Am I going to be watching a lot of TV right now, or am I going to be watching doing a lot of gaming right now? Well, it's football season, so TV's winning that one right now. But also, when you got to compete with, you got three other gamers in your house now, it's just like, when do I get to do it?
Yeah. I just, it's gotten so hard for me. I just think the older I get, like
just gaming overall, like games are getting harder, or time.
I become like, I got into gaming because I was co-owner of a comic shop at the time, right? And I had never gamed, and all my customers that I was hanging out with, they were all gamers, into comics, into gaming. And it's like, I'll give this a try, sure. And I got deep into it, and it's like, wow, this is the most amazing interactive way to get a story. I love it. And the older I get, like it's moves between me and getting the story, and I just get frustrated, because my thumbs are just not that fast anymore.
Okay, I get that. I mean, like everybody all the time, hey, you got to play Elden Ring. Hey, you got to play. So I don't want to play these games that are just like overly hard. I just don't have the time to be that upset. My kids raise my blood pressure enough. I don't want video games to do it too. I don't want my games to be fun. Yeah, please give me fun. Give me fun over. It's super challenging and it's rewarding. Nah, it's cool. You can have that.
Yeah, I watched my kid play a little bit of Elden Ring, enough to know. And no, I would hurt someone with my controller when I launched.
They're talking about Atari in the comments, so those are our people there, right?
I mean, I remember Pong.
I played it. It was really cool because you had the twist paddles. Man, those things were revolutionary when they came out.
With the twist paddles, when I could play Breakout with the twist paddles,
oh yeah,
I could run the table with that. That was my.
Once it got more than 2 buttons, I was out. That's what my mom said. She's like, yeah, I think after Atari, it was like 1 button, and then it moved to 2 with the Nintendo. She's like, no, you're getting out of hand. 2 buttons? Okay.
I've become that guy. Like, remember, you might be the same. I remember my dad's VCR was always blinking 12, and I was like,
couldn't figure out how to set the clock. It's like, that's why I say sometimes that Gen X is the greatest generation because we learned how to set the clock on a VCR.
But now it's beyond. Now I'm that guy. I've become that guy. Like, I can't.
Every time the power goes out, I'm just like, I'm going around the house and resetting all the clocks. My wife's fine. Just let them blink forever.
I mean, since the time change, I still haven't changed it in my car. I just subtract an hour. It's like, that's way easier than me trying to fix this.
We'll turn the fan on. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, no. Hit yourself with some breeze.
You can't make up its mind if it wants to be hot or cold in Texas right now. So,
There are some things I miss about Texas. It's a short list.
Is it like there's no state tax? I bet you missed that.
That would probably be number one.
That's pretty high up there, right?
That is way high. Whataburger is up there.
I had someone ask me, I have that NGL thing where you can ask whatever you want on Instagram, and someone asked me, what's your go-to ordered In-N-Out burger? I'm like, bro, I'm in Houston. We go to Whataburger. What are you talking about? In-N-Out. We did just get one, though. I still haven't tried it.
It's not as good. I lived in LA for 10 years. In-N-Out cannot hold a candle to Whataburger. I miss Whataburger. I miss Tex-Mex. I miss the right kind of barbecue.
Where you at now? Where are you at?
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I have family out there. Yeah, they love Myrtle Beach. We used to go up there, and we go to Myrtle Beach when we visit my uncle in North Carolina. Beautiful beach. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You think about what we got in Galveston, it's like, oh my God.
Oh man, no, Texas beaches are not the best.
Yeah, I mean, you go out in the other half of Texas, like out that way, maybe, but out there in the Gulf, no.
Oh yeah,
no, that's bad water. Bad water.
For sure. We were just at Myrtle a couple weeks ago. It was gorgeous.
Nice, yeah. I haven't been since I was a kid, but we loved it. That's the thing is, I think I kind of spoiled my kids. They used to go to Galveston; it was no big deal to them. And then we took them on a cruise, and they saw those waters in Jamaica and Cozumel, Mexico, and now they're like, I want to go to Galveston. It's nasty. So yeah, I guess you're right.
Let's go to Padre. No, let's go on a cruise. You got to pony up, Dad.
We're taking them again next year. We do cruises every year. We just do me and her one year, and then the whole family the next. It keeps us sane, I think.
Where are you going to go next year?
Well, that's 3 stops: Yucatan, Cozumel, and Honduras, which we've never been to Honduras, so that's gonna be fun. Roatan.
Gonna do any scuba, any snorkeling?
No, Mike doesn't like the ocean very much. So
What?
Mike just likes to sit right there about ankle deep in the ocean, just look at how beautiful it is. He doesn't like to actually get in it. But we went to what Carnival has, a private island. It's called Half Moon Key, and it had like the clearest, most beautiful water I've ever seen. I got it to my neck, and that never happens with me in the ocean. It was so beautiful. So I could have seen anything coming at me. But it's never really about like what's in the ocean as much as just the open space makes my heart go. Something about it. Just the open space of the ocean freaks me out.
Oh man, there's some gorgeous diving in Cozumel. I have done some diving in Cozumel. It is really gorgeous.
We were there, and they went to like a private resort area, and the kids. I mean, my kid was out there swimming with a stingray. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" So,
Don't you know that's how Steve Irwin died?
Yeah, that's how the crocodile hunter died. Yeah.
Are you crazy?
They are. They're pretty crazy.
Oh man, they got no fear. Kids have no fear. So
God
Mike,
bless them.
let me start book questions before everybody, so next, I know you're finishing up Expanse.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. And I know Speaks the Nightbird is coming up. Is it coming up next? Is it later in the month? What are we looking at?
No, that's going to be the end of the month. That's the longest one. So I'm going to do that. Then I got to finish the penultimate book of Rome of the Elderlings. And then I'm finally doing Legend by David Gemmell. That's a nice short one you'll need after a couple of short, kind of longer books.
Yeah.
And then the last one for the month is going to be the Speaks the Nightbird, which is just a chunker. And I just finished Pillars of the Earth, that reread. And great book, but it's a massive, massive book. So
Speaks the Nightbird, it's another historical fiction. And so it's another chunker historical fiction, but it's really
but everyone
good.
says it's great.
I think you hit 2 of the ones that McCammon hit out of the park early. You did Boy's Life.
Yeah, I did those first. I think that hurt it. Yeah. And
Swan Song. The Matthew Corbett series is great. I think you'll really like it. I think Speaks the Nightbird's a bit. He could have trimmed it. I think he could have trimmed it.
I just learned that it was originally 2 volumes, and they just kind of put it into one. I just learned that then. I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But I was like, I don't know. I look at most Robert McCammon books, and I'm like, he might not have an editor because his books are long.
It's weird. That one is I don't really think he retired. I think he wanted to write different stuff, and I don't think he could get anyone to publish him because he wanted to get out of the box he was working in and start doing different stuff, historical fiction and that kind of thing. And his publisher said, "No, we're not interested in that." So it's like he just kind of kicked around, I think, for a long time until he found some small press in his home state of Alabama that would pick it up. So I don't know if he had like a really top editor from a big publishing house go over it or something. I have no idea, but it could be shorter, I think. But I can't wait to see what you think of it. I think you'll be back into McCammon. It is one of the better ones. The other one I would recommend for you for sure, if you're just looking for a straight up thriller, like just like a 80s action movie.
Stinger.
No, that's sci-fi.
No?
Is Mine.
Okay. All right. I mean, I like him enough that I'm going to try just about anything by him, just off of the strength of those first 2 books I read of his. So I'll probably give anything a try. And the thing is, like the other 2 books, Wolf's Hour and They Thirst, I didn't think they were bad books. First, I was like, the espionage genre just isn't for me, even with a werewolf. It's just not really my thing. I've never been able to get into those. So all the time people are like, you read Tom Clancy, and I'm like, no. I don't. I think he's a great author. Obviously, he's created an amazing character. It's just not my genre. I can't really get into it. But with They Thirst, I don't know. He had so many characters, and I was like, I don't know who. There's like one main character and like a billion side characters. Not really sure. It felt like he spent so much time developing characters that were just going to be fodder. And I was like, I guess that's trying to make it matter. So it was just kind of easy. He wasn't quite to the peak of his powers yet. And even he has said, he wishes he kind of could have that one back, and take more care on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not one of his.
If that's your worst book, I mean, I think you're doing pretty good.
I mean, it's a fun read. It's just not. It wouldn't make my best of list, and some of his stuff definitely makes my best of list. And
I got a couple of collections in here.
it's unfair
I'm sorry, I
to
didn't mean to
think you're
cut
going
you
to do
off
that
on your
every
own
time.
stream. You told me to check out some of these questions, and people want to know. Hey, I just read The Expanse, and I just got to wait. Look, I think I saw Kay saying that she read. Yeah, she was iffy on Leviathan Wakes. Does the series get better? I mean, I think so. But I will say that you didn't like Leviathan Wakes. I don't know, because I felt like that's a pretty good representation of the series. It goes to much greater heights.
Does it?
But I do know that like a lot of people are really like they like the series okay, but even myself, it wasn't like at the book 5 where it just completely blew me away, and it's just been like
Really?
pedal to the metal since then. And I hate being that guy. Oh, when you get to book 5, no, I think it's really good before there. It just hits another gear once it
Yeah.
gets to book 5, and it's
I
just been
think I
amazing.
did the first couple, the first 2, the first 3, something like that. And it's not that I wasn't liking it. I just kind of fell out and just never got back to it. But it needed to hit another gear. I thought it was moving a little slow for me in the beginning. And it's like I'm stuck in Wheel of Time too. Like I think I'm at book 7 or something like that, and it's like I'm just having the hardest
Weird.
time.
That's where a lot of people get stuck on Wheel of Time.
Yeah, and I mean it wasn't. I hear everyone's go, oh well, that's this. You'll hit the slog, and it's like, man, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't moving crazy fast for me before that. I'm enjoying it, but I mean I didn't think it was moving crazy fast.
I mean, I think about where the series was at the beginning and where it's at right where I'm at right now. It's like it feels like a completely different series. Like that first book really does kind of feel almost like a detective noir kind of thing in
Right.
outer space. It's kind of what it almost kind of feels like. And the second one just kind of hits into like a I don't know, like a political thriller, and then it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of keeps changing and evolving. And once it gets to 5, it's just like full on space opera, and it's just awesome. You can't get enough of it. So,
Oh,
I should
I
know.
might have to get back into it, man. You have
Hey,
not.
Madison says she's going to read Legend and Speaks a Nightbird with me. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Mhm.
Heidi is reading Speaks the Nightbird right now, I think. A lot of people are doing it for December. Dude, I'm doing this right now, which I would have never done.
Ah, I told you you'd like it though.
Dude, I would have never done that. I saw you interview Shackle, and it's like, man, I guess I got to try this now too, because the guy's just he's too much of he's a comics geek like me. He's too much of a cool guy. Got to read his book. And it's
You know,
like,
the question I get so much is, "Hey, I love First Law. Tell me something else like it." I was like, if I knew something else like First Law, I would be singing its praises. And I've started to recommend Last War to people that really like First Law.
yeah,
I don't
but
think it's the same, but I think that you'll like it if you like the First Law.
it's not the same, but it's like I mean, he puts his characters through so much shit. Like anytime somebody gets a glimmer, like there's a glimmer on the horizon, and then it's just
It's like,
like,
hey, we
no.
won a battle. Too bad you lost a fucking leg. Yeah.
Oh my, it's just. I was reading a chapter before I got on with you, and it's like, okay, we're getting set up. We're gonna. No, it's a world
Well,
of
when you
shit.
get to about the halfway point of Fool's Hope, there's something that changes. It's just like, oh my god, so cool because he sticks a landing. It's really, really awesome. But yeah, that one right there, my favorite of that trilogy, and that's going to be on my top 10 books this year without a doubt. Is Fool's Hope. So
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I kind of stacked up my December with what I thought could kind of overtake my best of. Once I read the first one, I thought, okay, this one probably will. I'm finishing up Warlord Chronicles. I'm doing Words of Radiance, so it's like I got a lot of people's
That's a
faves,
hefty list right there, man. Woo.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's why
still
I'm
think
not
back to because
gaming.
I read back to back because I was reading them right before Oathbringer came out. I got into Brandon Sanderson a little late, and I read The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance like back to back, and people were like blown away. I read both of them in like a month, and I was like, they were good, they blew me away and stuff. But the
Yeah,
thing was like it kind of burned me out. So right when Oathbringer came out, I was like, I need a break. I didn't read
yeah.
Oathbringer for like almost a year after it came out.
Well, the first one kind of blew me away, and it's like that's the thing. Like when I came to BookTube, it's like I had no clue, and I've been out of reading for a good while, and it's like I've been the same old people over and over again, and it's like when I would try something new, I was not happy because I didn't quite know what I was grabbing for or where I should grab. I had no idea who Brandon Sanderson was. I had no idea who Joe Abercrombie was. It's like I'm gonna check out BookTube. Found your channel, a bunch of other ones, and it's like pretty much every read from that point has been really good. I mean, I haven't had a bad read since for 6 or 7 months.
That's awesome. That's a great feeling, because I know there's a lot of people I know that have kind of gotten to the point where they feel like they've read all the heavy hitters and now they're having a hard time, like, finding anything that's really, really clicking for them. I mean, I have those stretches where I was like, I'm not finding anything nothing that I regret reading, but, I would say there's nothing I'm like, I wouldn't consider this like an all timer. And then I found Bound the Broken, which I've just loved. That really kind of
I have
rejuvenated my year.
I've got book 1 and the first novella, and I'm gonna do them like all together. I just haven't found.
You're like me. You like to read several at once, don't you?
Well, I mean, here's the perfect thing is trilogies, right? Because I can do one a month for 3 months, and you can see a finish line.
Yeah.
Like I can get a grand story 3 months down the road. I know I'm going to live that long. I feel good about committing. Sign me up. But then it's like
I feel like I've been doing Realm of the Oldlings forever. I do, and I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I do. I feel like it's been going forever.
Everyone's telling me I should do Robin Hobb, and it's like I don't know. My guy Mike has been up and down on some of these trilogies. I don't know, man. And I'm not going to do another massive thing until I catch up with the Cosmere. That's too many to add. I can't add.
With Wheel of Time, everybody wanted me to start Malazan like right away, and I was like, I'm finishing Wheel of Time first, because if I don't, I'll never finish either of them. And I still haven't finished Malazan, but I'm on book 8. So I mean, it's there's some series. It's just I don't want to start series that long. That's why this year I said I want to focus on getting rid of the rereads and getting back to finishing some of these long series, finish Realm of the Oldlings, finish the Expanse, and then get back into like 3-4 book series. Keep it reasonable, something I could finish, in a few months.
I'm telling you, man, the trilogy is the perfect. It's the perfect length. Like I love it, even if they're huge chunks.
Well, you can cheat like Mike Shackle does, and book 3 can just be the size of 2 books. So that's how he beats the trilogy thing.
I haven't. Yeah, that's a big one. I'm starting Brian Lee Durfee's trilogy in January as a buddy read. And those are huge, man.
Yeah.
Have you read those?
I've read 2.5. I still haven't finished the 3rd book, and I feel bad about it. So I hope he's not watching, because I feel so bad about it. It was one of those things like I have my schedule so packed, and I just ran out of time over the holidays last year. And I've never went back to it, and now I feel like I've forgotten too much.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'm going to try to see if I can convince him to do like Christopher Rocchio does and make those videos where he gives like a synopsis of what the book's about. But this is Brian, so there'll be like 7-hour long videos, and only about an hour would be about the book. It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing.
That sounds like amazing programming for the greatest television station in the history of the universe. Just set some time aside. And then he, this is what I absolutely love his channel, and because I will have to fucking edit this, and it's never edited. Like there's
right when I reviewed Forgetting Moon, I actually like spoofed that at the beginning. Is this thing on? Don't worry, I'll edit that out, and then you just don't do it.
Yeah, it's like I don't have these books set up. I'll have to edit this all over. It's like I've
done that a couple times recently where I'm like, yeah, but that book's downstairs, and I'm not going to go get it. So tough. But then I'll actually end up getting it out.
So are you missing the rereads? Are you missing the Multiverse King rereads?
I mean, not really, because I'll have to reread Dark Tower 6, which is one of my least favorite Stephen King books of all time. So I don't really mind that I took a break right here where I'm at.
Dr. Chase right now. You're upsetting Dr. Chase right now.
Oh, I know Philip. I mean, Philip, I love him to death, and we don't have to agree on everything, but Philip's smarter than me, so he's probably right. So I don't know. I mean, I'm on Dreamcatcher right now. Dreamcatcher, which is usually ranked as like one of the worst Stephen King books ever. In my memory, I didn't hate it, but I think I was just excited. He lived. That was the first book he wrote after his accident. I was just excited that he was alive and writing. So maybe that played into it a little bit. But no, we'll see. Stop it, Philip. Stop it. I see the comments.
Song of Susanna, man. Song of Susanna, Mike. Are you?
No. It is not, Leslie. It is not underrated. It is appropriately rated. At the bottom of the Dark Tower. It's at the very lowest level of the beam, right there.
No, what's Empire of the Wolf? I can't remember what I probably said I was going to start that in January. I can't even remember. Oh,
Richard.
That's Richard Swan, right?
Yeah.
I really want to get to that because the 3rd one's coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can already get the arc, and it's not very hard to get at all. Like it's always been like a problem, but last year it was like he was trying to get me a review copy of it, like he just couldn't, and so he got it. He told me this year he got it worked out to where basically you don't even need approval. You just apply, and you're gonna get the digital art. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool of him.
You know what? I'm such a newbie. Like I mean, I've gotten a couple arcs through NetGalley or something, but I gotta figure out how to work the voodoo or the mojo to get on some of these lists because it's like, man, yeah,
I
buying
still
this amount
can't,
of
man. I
books.
mean, I still can't consistently. I mean, I have to have. I mean, Jay Kristoff and Pierce Brown both had to personally send me a review copy
Yeah, but
for
they
me to get one.
did. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
that's
did.
pretty.
They did.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but here's the thing: is like I'll plan my schedule out for months in advance, and then I get one unexpectedly. Like I got the new Richter Swan. I'm like, shit, I don't know if I could actually get to it before the actual release date because I plan to do other things. I'm starting Shogun in January, and that's not a short one,
No,
So,
no.
and
So
December was already planned out.
I'm gonna be happy with with Empire of the Damned, right? I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah. If you
Okay,
like the Empire of the Vampire,
I
I
loved
don't
it.
think that that's going to be the book that changes your mind. If you didn't like it, it's not going to be the book that brings you around. If you did like it, it's definitely not going to be like, you know what, I didn't like this after all. You're like, yes, more of this. Yes, give me more of that. Yeah,
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I
yeah.
thought
He
it was
comes out with
great.
all types of new verbiage in this one too. It's so
Oh
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's quite
he's
creative.
great. I was going to say that like it was funny. Who was I talking to? Chris Verrocchio talking about that. Someone that was translating one of Jay Kristoff's books into Italian. And I was like, oh, I bet that was a chore with, with the way he uses so much slang.
Yeah. How would you
I'll
even know
bet
where to
that was
start?
fun. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, there's another series you got me into, Empire or Sun Eater,
Mm,
Empire of Silence. I've read the first book.
mm.
Dude, did how many times did you have to? I had to set that book aside several times reading it. Go, okay, this 18 or 19-year-old kid when he wrote this he's on some different level that I'm never gonna
Yeah.
obtain.
Yeah. It's right. I kind of spoiled it here, but Josh over at Fury Books, he's putting together one of those things where you talk about underrated science fiction. And obviously, I talked about Sun Eater. And just saying in there that, like, it's getting more popular now.
It seems
But,
like it's getting a
for three
lot of
years,
play.
it's taken like 3 years of me bagging on people. Now everyone's starting to come around. And some of the bigger booktubers are talking about him now. And that's cool. I'm super happy for Christopher. What I always tell people is, or when Christopher, like, thanks me for saying basically like I saved his career. I was like, no, man, all I did was put eyes on it. If you weren't good at what you do, it
Yeah,
wouldn't have maintained that trend of going upwards because you're so good at it. But what I think makes him different is just like his writing talent is just on a different level from most people that I've seen. And I'm not even one of those pro snobs. And even I can look at it and be like, wow, that's gorgeous. That's
yeah.
beautiful the way
I mean, I
he
had
wrote it.
and I don't generally do this, but during my review of it, like I had to read a passage. Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me? Like,
he's good.
what? And
Yeah, I think me and Madison joked around one time saying that. I wonder if while Hadrian's like writing this, this Hadrian writing like his life story, if he ever like sits back and goes, "Damn, I'm good."
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Hey, a little bit of this. But I mean, I think like he's another level for me. Like I can't wait to get back into it. Lesser Devil is before book 2, right? Like if I'm trying to go in order.
Yes, but I haven't read the novellas or the short stories yet, so
Oh,
I'm a
you
bad
went straight through
friend.
the novels?
Yeah, I did. I didn't get Lesser Devil until I'd already read the first 3 books, and I just haven't went back. I always said I would, but I'm paying out the nose for those special editions that come from the UK, so I better read them. I got Lesser Devil, Queen Amid Ashes, and I've got the Dregs of Empire on the way
Oh my
because it
god.
just sucks being a collector, man.
I
But I like to overpay for versions that are going to help out people who like a lot of people are like, oh, you didn't donate to Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter. I was like, no, I thought Brandon would be okay. I wanted to give my money to, ML Wong to do that, or to do a Sword of Kaigan. I want to give my money to Zach Argyle to do
Yeah.
Threadlight, lesser known authors that might not get their projects funded. That's kind of what I try to do. So yeah, I can help out Christopher. I was always going to do that, but doesn't need my help anymore. He did that Kickstarter and it funded in the first 2 hours now. So he doesn't need my help anymore.
Yeah, for the Sanderson thing, it's like I wanted the 3 Cosmere books, but I didn't know if I wanted all 4, and I sure didn't want like the fan boxes and all that stuff. And it's like, I think I'll just wait and pick up the books, like the ones
Sure,
that
I'd
I.
like them. It's just I wish I could support everything, but after a while, my wife's gonna be like, okay, we got to talk.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, believe me. I mean, this is why, paperbacks are my friend, because going through so much stuff and stocking up so much stuff, it's like, you just can't do everything.
yeah, that's just the life of a collector, man. Try not
Yeah.
to, but you can't help it. You
I
can't help
do
it.
have the Threadlight coming though from
Yeah,
Kickstarter,
yeah,
because I'm trying to, I think I was like you, right? Weren't we the same mind of this? Like, I don't know about indie or self pub. Like, is that B League? Like, what? I wasn't sure. It's like, man, my eyes have been way open since I've started reading
yeah.
some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think I give Ryan a lot of credit for that because he kind of opened my eyes. That like if someone hadn't told me that Bound and Broken was self-published, I would never believed him. I've been like, this is a AAA, this is Orbit's new series or
Yeah.
something. I mean, so yeah, I felt like a complete tool after that. Once I talked to Ryan and he tells me about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, a lot of stuff that Mike Shackle told me off the air about what goes on in the publishing industry. I'm like, I can see why so many people are like, I'm going to cut that middle guy out. And, I'm going to write my book and, I'll finish it, and within like 2 months, it'll be in your hands instead of having to wait 13 months for a publisher to
Right.
turn it around, and stuff. So just hearing about how some of them get held hostage,
Mm-hmm.
they'll option them for a 3-book deal, and then they'll decide to not release the second book, and they don't get paid, and it's just like you can't do anything else with it. That's awful. It's
Well,
just
yeah.
like terrorist acting. That's
I
just
was
it's
just hearing
terrible.
Rockio talk to you. Like, he went to a different publisher because
Yeah, they
they
were
didn't
dicking
want to do
around
it the
big
way he
time.
wanted to do it, or whatever was going on there. So I can see the appeal of wanting to have, what? It's my business. I'm going to decide who does the cover. I'm going to decide, it's an amazing movement to me. The more I look into it and the more authors I talk to, the more people I meet, it's like to not get their work out there would be them to look at themselves in the mirror and lie, because it's like, I'm not writing and this is who I am and I'm going to put my stuff out there. And it's like, it's a super cool movement once you get into it. So I can't wait to get Threadlight. I hear amazing
And I like
things.
how they're also super supportive of each other too. That's something I always appreciate. They're very encouraging and always constantly, lifting each other up. It's a good community to be in. If I would think if I actually could write anything, I'd like to be in that community for sure.
You it you're still young, Mike.
No, 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 no. The reason I read, guys, is because I can't tell a story for shit. Like I always joke to people, if I tried to write a story, all it would do is be like a mashup of Lord of the Rings and Dune, full on, just like blatant rip off. And I was like, a lot of people have gotten away with careers as that. I was like, that's not me.
Yeah. Yeah, that might sell, Mike.
The Lord of the Dunes, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, that sounds like something I would actually buy. I mean, Dune is my number one. Lord of the Rings has got to be way up there for me.
Yeah, I'm quite a fan. Yeah.
So,
No, no. See, Ryan say like I can't tell a story not yet. No, that's the thing is you see some of these authors who just get like grilled because it has 3 boys in it. It's just like Wheel of Time. What a ripoff. It's like that would be me. I wear my influences on my sleeve way too much. I can't even have a conversation with my wife without doing a Star Wars quote. I'm not original on these things, guys.
you know what?
So
But that has never bothered me. Like, I hear people go, I don't know, it's tropey. I don't, it's not my thing. It's like, what does that even mean? Like, you know
I
what?
like tropes.
I do too. Like, that's what brought me here. Like,
Mhm.
I like steak. It's steak every time. Every time I stop at a gas station to fill up, I go in and get a Snicker bar. They're the same every time, and yet I still like them. I'm still going in to get one. Like, tropes
Yeah,
don't. I think they're awesome. And then if you can subvert them like Abercrombie did, or people do, it's like it's even cooler.
agree. Yeah.
So let me ask. I know you and me probably started very almost at the same time in our lives with Stephen King. Like, how old were you when you picked up your first King?
Uh, 13, I think it was.
Yeah.
My gateway was, look, I grew up very, very strict religious household, and it got lax in my later years. But up until I was right before I was towards the end of high school, it was very, very restrictive. And my parents thought that Stephen King was Satan. They can't be
Mm.
reading that satanic stuff. They would tell me. Whereas me, I'm like, oh my God, you're reading? That's amazing. That's what I'd be like with my kids. But my parents, it was a little different. So since it was on ABC, I was granted permission to watch the It miniseries, and that was my gateway. We moved to Houston in '93, and that was when I picked up It, because they had like an apartment complex I lived in. They had where you could check out like movies and books and stuff, and I saw It. So it took me that whole summer to read it because I could only read it when Mom wasn't around. You know, 'cause I had to so read it nice. So you're trying to hide this paperback that's this thick in your mattress. It can get quite uncomfortable, you know. But I did. You know, me and my brother used to hide like our Iron Maiden records and Beach Boy album covers and stuff like that. You know, that's just what we did. You know, so.
You Beach Boys? You weren't allowed Beach Boys?
No. We were allowed Beach Boys. We weren't allowed Iron Maiden. We would hide the Iron Maiden.
You put them in the Beach Boys
cover in the sleeve. Yeah.
That's well played, sir. Well played.
You had to do what you had to do, you know, growing up like that. And then the thing was, like, my mom just like when I was like 16 or 17, she's like, I don't care if you read Stephen King. I'm just happy you're reading. I'm like, oh, parents, right?
See, it was almost exactly reversed for me. Like when I think I was 12, 13, right? And I had done The Hobbit, I had done C.S. Lewis, the one thing my mom would never say no to is if I asked for a book, we would make the drive into the big city, go to the bookstore, you know, go to the mall, hit B. Dalton's, hit the cookie company, have a time, and I could pick up. She would never care what book I picked. And as my mom got older and I got older, then it became, I think, the closer she got to meeting her creator, the more religious she got. The more religious she got.
It starts that way and then it kind of slides and it kind of comes back around when she starts getting one foot in the grave. Yeah. Seems like that.
But I was like 12 or 13. I was trying to remember the other day which one was first for me. It was either Dead Zone, Firestarter, or Shining, and for the life of me, I cannot remember which one. In my head, I can see all three of the paperback covers that I had, but I can't remember which one was first.
Those are all good picks, though.
Sucks to get old, man.
Well, it's so weird is I can remember stuff like that, but I can't remember what I did yesterday. So I've reached that point in life. So,
well, yesterday it might not have been that interesting, man.
People ask me all the time, how can you remember all that stuff? It's like, because I just push useless information, like my kids' birthdays out of my head and stuff like that, so I can remember the succession of the line of Kings of Gondor, that's the important stuff.
Do you, off the top of your head, do you know your anniversary date?
Here's the thing is I do, but every once in a while I mess up because she originally wanted, it was going to be 10-10-10, but that date wasn't available. So we had to do the weekend before, which was 10-3-10. So every once in a while I'll just be like, oh yeah, it's on 10-10. I'm like,
You married well, though, man.
I remember dates much better than she does, so she doesn't mind. Yeah.
For her to help you out with picking a date like that, you married well.
Yeah, we're both Leos. If you believe all that stuff, apparently that is one of the few like signs that are compatible with one another. And just say, look, we know when not to mess with each other.
Yeah,
I think that helps. We always seem to be standing in the same place in the kitchen. We think it is because we're both Leos.
My wife and I, for our wedding, got a plate with the date on it, and it's on the mantle. And I know what month. Yeah, when it gets close, when the month comes around, it gets close. I'll walk by and take a look at what date, just so I'm sure, because there's no way.
Lots of Leo love, and I can't tell if it's sarcastic or not in the comments. Leos are, of course, the coolest. Leos are a special group of individuals. I agree.
Telltale just did an Expanse game.
I've never done any of the Telltale games, but people seem to love them. I
did a lot of the Walking Dead ones.
Yeah, I say a lot of my friends were doing the Walking Dead ones when that was super popular. Yeah. When did you quit on Walking Dead? Because it seems like this is like no one ever says, "Oh, I watched the whole thing," or "I'm still watching." They always have a point about when they jumped off.
Dude, I think I just jumped off. And here's the like
recently you kept going this long?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I was, what?
Patience is immeasurable.
And it was, I'm not sure why I stayed. I even watched this last miniseries with Negan and Maggie in New York. And I wrapped up that miniseries and I thought, you know what? I can cancel my AMC. I'm out. I got to tap out. This is just not, I can't hang anymore.
Oh, it was like we were all on board with it because I read the comic, so we were all on board with it. And then, out of nowhere, one day we just kind of stopped watching. We're like, "Do you want to catch up?" We were both like, "Nah." We tried to a couple of times. We're like, "Why is Jesus and this guy just fighting in the woods for no reason? We're having a ninja fight in the woods. What's going on right now?" We're just like, "Man, fuck this," and we turned it off.
It started great.
Oh yeah.
Like it started great. I was so happy. But no, I don't think they could keep it up to that quality for that long. I'm a huge Kirkman fan though. I haven't watched season 2 of Invincible, and I'm sure I'll watch that.
I haven't watched Invincible yet. I get people asking me to watch it every single day, and I'm just like, someday. Uh, like I said,
That's
I got to make time. I got to choose my hobbies, very, very particularly. And yeah, it's always rough for me in football season. It kind of takes over my life. Huge
how's
football fan.
how's your season going? How are the Texans doing?
They're 6-5, which is double their win total from last year.
I mean, that's a
So that's
step.
good.
That's a
Yeah, it's a
step.
step up. They're exciting to watch. All I wanted was competent football. I just wanted to not be like, "What are you thinking?" I didn't want the announcer to be like, "I have no idea what the hell they're doing." That was my measuring stick, and it definitely seems like it's there now. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
And
It's watchable football.
do you watch the Rockets at all, or
When I can, yeah. But I mean, there's a lot more games. Give me easy football, 3 hours once a week. That's for 4 months a year. That's easy to make sure you get that in there. But with basketball and baseball, it's like every night, every other night. So it's like when I can.
yeah, 82
I
games is a
usually
lot
put
of
like an
games.
Astros game on while it's like on mute while I'm reading. I'll do that a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, like I I can't get into baseball, man. I can only watch the games I played when I was in high school
Mhm. I get that.
because I understand them. I'm pretty sure I don't know what I'm looking at when I look at like hockey or baseball or soccer or anything else.
That's me with hockey and soccer. I famously wore a shirt that said football, not football, the Spanish spelling of football. And people got mad. I remember, oh, yeah, Mike, more than half of your audience is overseas. And soccer, or they call it football, not American football, is the most popular sport in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, maybe that probably was a bad idea. I had to explain to him, it's like it's a Texas thing. American football is religion in Texas,
Well,
and it's very competitive because we're right next to Mexico, where
yeah.
soccer is very, very popular. So it's all just fun and games. It's never meant to be slander, but people take some stuff personally sometimes.
Yeah, I grew up in a Texas town with like 2,000 people in the whole town. So yeah, Friday night games were like a religion.
Mm. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big damn deal out here. So there are people all the time who are like, hey, cool, your baseball team won or whatever. Like, are you like satisfied? I was like, I mean, sure. You ever turn down a championship for one of your teams, but I'd trade 3 baseball championships for 1 Super Bowl. I mean, it's football.
Yeah,
It's football. And people all the time like, what will it take for the Texans to be the most popular team in town? Like,
they got to win the
get to
Super
a
Bowl.
Super Bowl? Yeah, they don't even have to win one. They just have to get there. And I was like, that's just because it's not meant as a slander against the NBA or MLB. It's just football in Texas is just a different being.
Yeah.
It's on a different planet.
I mean, the Texans still play, second fiddle to the Cowboys, and they haven't been to the big show in a long time.
I mean, as far as the state as a whole, sure, but the thing is, like, I get that all the time. Like, oh yeah, they're always going to be like the Cowboys' little brother. And I'm like, yeah, they've won the same number of playoff games in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
But hey, keep living in the 90s, guys. Keep living in the 90s.
Hey, the 90s were good, Mike. The 90s.
I miss the 90s. I could go up and down the stairs with no problems in the 90s. It was excellent. I could eat a whole pizza and not gain any weight. It was incredible.
My back felt great. I could sleep all night. Like the 90s.
Gravity wasn't being an asshole. Yeah, I know.
Gravity was. I mean, it was. Didn't even have my zip code yet.
I've seen some people asking. I'm originally from Atlanta. I moved to Houston in '93. Your phone always rings when you're on a live stream.
Yeah.
My mom and her sister were very close, and her sister got cancer, so she wanted to move out here and be closer. And so I moved here in '93. Always said I'd move back, and then I kind of fell in love with that no taxes thing, and the nice weather and stuff like that. And I said, hey, I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah,
and that's the story. Been here for 30 years now. So
Texas Pipe Man. I grew up in Lytle, Texas. Lytle. It's about 35 miles south of San Antonio.
I'm actually in Cypress. It's about it's one of those things you cross a few lights and you're in Houston. That's just kind of how Cypress is. So Houston's large, and I'm right on the outside of it. So my mailing address would say Cypress, but
but it's
go up
Houston.
the street 5 miles and it's Houston.
It's so huge. It is so big, man. It is so big.
I couldn't be like Philip living up there in the Northeast. That's too cold. That's too cold.
It's cold here too. I lived in LA for 10 years, so that was big.
All the time, people are like, oh, people that live up in the north, they're always like, it's not cold. I'm like, look, anything under like 50, and I'm like, hell no, I'm staying inside. That's just the way it is in the South. Just like how you guys would think that you guys say you're having a heat wave. Oh yeah, it hit 81 today. I'm like, 81? Yeah, it's like that, guys. When you live in a certain area, that's kind of how it is. Like, we freak out about snow, but we don't freak out about hurricanes. Whereas you
Yeah.
guys had a hurricane, you lost your freaking minds. So
Yeah. I mean, we moved here to North Carolina to be closer to my wife's family, and this is where where Jacob wanted to go to school, where his cousins go to school as well. So timing was right, and I do love four seasons. I love having four seasons because San Antonio was like 8 months of hot, like hot,
Yeah, I'd
hot.
say we got about 1.5 here. It's hot,
Yeah,
hot, and like a few weeks of cold, and then it's back to warm and then hot again. Yeah.
yeah, that's it, man.
That's why I live in the South. That's why I live in the South. I like warm.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
don't like
couldn't.
116 like we had all this summer, but you get some of those sometimes.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Getting in your car, you can't touch the steering wheel. Like I don't miss any of those things.
I got to go eat pie. Hey, Evan, go for it, man.
Man,
Go
I wish
for it.
I could eat
I
pie.
got a leftover slice of pumpkin pie waiting for Sunday because Sunday, obviously football season. That's my naughty day. That's when
Yeah.
I eat and drink. So so I save everything for one bad day a week, and I had to after Thanksgiving because man, it got bad. It got bad over
Oh,
Thanksgiving. I was
yeah. No,
naughty.
I went to the dark side for Thanksgiving.
Oh man, I was like sweating chocolate. It was terrible. Yeah, I just behaved bad. I think you know what, you got to do something because up at Christmas time, it seems like every day up at the office they've got bad food every single day. So you gotta
Oh.
watch out for these things.
And you can justify it. Well, it's the holidays.
Oh yeah,
I could do this during the holidays.
I know.
No, it
Who knew
was
that calories counted the same in November, December as they do in January?
yeah, no, it was I went to the it was I have to atone for sure. Absolutely. I had a great Thanksgiving though. I hope you did as well.
Yeah, it could not have been better. I haven't been to work since the day before Thanksgiving. But I do go back on Monday. That sucks. But,
Oh, what's
but then
your
I go for 3 weeks and then I'm off for another week and a half. So it's all good times.
but it's you know what? It's isn't it the worst to go back because you don't know what you're walking into. Your
Oh
desk could be
yeah, I have
piled.
one of those jobs where they don't do your work while you're gone. They'll be
No.
there waiting for you when you get back. So yeah, it's you open your email that first day back and it's like scrolling. That little scroll bar just keeps getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, it's good times.
All right. So what? And I know what your best read of the year is. I know it's
Yeah,
Lonesome Dove.
yeah.
Are you getting close to rounding out your top 10?
I mean, I did like my first draft, I guess you'd say, my top 10, and I like it. But now I'm like, okay, I've got 4 more books on my schedule, and I'm like, what if one of those cracks into it? So damn
Yeah.
it. So you can never finalize these things, especially if everybody claims I'm going to love Legend. If this is just such a very very popular book, and apparently I'm going to love it. So who knows? Who knows?
I,
Right now, I feel pretty good about it.
yeah, I remember Josh at Red Fury, man. He read it and was just like over the moon about it. I immediately went out and ordered it like the next day because he was crazed over it. So it could make your list.
What is Lesser Dead? He says, tell me how funny it is, and maybe I'll read it.
Lesser Dead is that's a vampire book I read this October for spooky season that Andrew recommended to me.
Oh,
And
Andrew didn't DNF it? That's impressive. Must be
I
really good.
I put out a vampire list and he commented that, oh, this is my favorite vampire book. Is like, man, I'm reading it this October. It's on the list. And it was really good. And it's Christopher Buehlman. I'd never read Christopher Buehlman. And
Ah, yeah,
apparently,
yeah. I read Between Two Fires. Okay, I didn't
how
notice
was
it did
that?
it.
Because that's on my list now.
I don't know. It's fine. Again, another one of those I don't regret reading it, but I don't think about it. It's one of
Yeah.
those just stop thinking about it 5 minutes after you finish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Black Tongue Thief. I know he wrote that. A lot of people are liking that.
I have it, but haven't read it. Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to make the list or it's someday?
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I never planned to quit reading. I mean, look, here's the thing: is like I had We Are the Dead. I had that book for 3 years before I finally read it. Mike sent it to me back in 2020, and I finally read it this year. So I mean, it's like one of those things. It's just, when I say I'll get to it, I mean I will. It could be a year. It could be 10 years. You never know. I mean, I've got a lot of shit in here that I
Yeah.
can't read, and everybody keeps sending me more stuff, and I keep buying more. I mean, I just stopped myself from going to the bookstore today. I was right next to it. I almost went. I was like, "Why, dude? So you can buy more shit you don't have room for, or you're not going to read anytime soon." So I mean, I'm getting better at that, but I still will
Oh,
buy, a couple books a month at least.
I haven't got there yet, man. I love buying books. It's the best feeling in the world for me. I just absolutely love it.
Mhm.
And it's like I'm buying stuff that I have no idea when I'm going to read it. Like honestly. But I'm,
This is why I had to stop doing rereads, man, because I was like, dude, you're never going to read all this stuff before you die.
yeah.
Slow your roll a little bit. Because I
Yeah.
was looking at this every month, and it was like 3 books every month that were just rereads. And I was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Stop. So,
But Pillars of Earth was worth it.
well, that's because I am going to be reading Kingsbridge,
Right.
the series. So I hadn't read Pillars of the Earth since I was a junior in high school. So I was like, I feel like that justifies a reread. And the Stephen King stuff, because I'm doing Into the Multiverse, I haven't read a lot of that since I was 15 to 20 years old. So I wanted
Right.
to reread all that stuff before I talked about it. But outside of that, I was like, I got to stop. No more rereading First Law. Quit reading Lord of the Rings every couple of years. Quit reading Dune every year. It was like, just, dude, you know what happened to the book at this point. Just calm down. Calm
Yeah.
down. So Stephen King is going to kind of be the one that skips in that line, actually gets it done when I do get back onto it. I did stop it for the rest of the years because I knew I wanted to get those long series off my list. But next year I'll have a little bit more leeway, I think.
See, I'm convinced I need to reread Pet Cemetery
It's a great book. So yeah, you should.
because it's on so many people's lists. It's on your list, isn't it? Isn't it your top 10 Stephen King? It's on your list.
I haven't made that list, but yeah, it would be.
It would be. I think I read it so young. I did not get what he was doing. Like I read it as such a kid. I didn't get the whole panic of parenthood and dealing with loss and like all these themes that he's actually dealing with. I'm sure they
Right.
just went right here.
Well, I said that, I read it when I was 15, and I think I got what I wanted. When I was 15, I was reading Stephen King. I just wanted to be scared. I wanted him
Yeah.
to scare me. I was Stephen King, the master of horror. I wanted to be scared. I got that. And then I read it again, like in 2017, after having kids, and it fucked me up in a whole different way. I was
That's
like, okay, so it's still scary, but it's scary for, that idea of losing a child. That's just,
right.
oh my God, worst fear as a parent,
So
right?
I can't even go there. Like I can't even contemplate that,
Yeah,
right?
so I think that's what makes this book so great on these rereads. Reading a lot of them as a teenager when you haven't had a lot of those battles in your life yet, and then read them in your 40s, and you're like, wow, this is, I've been through some of the stuff that the characters like. I loved it. I loved the younger story, but the older parent, the adult stuff, I was like, eh. And then
Yeah.
when I reread it, I was like, okay, I like both these stories now because I feel like I'm getting that nostalgia with the coming of age kid stuff. But I'm also seeing, a lot of these struggles that adults have that I didn't think about when I was 15 years old. So many
Yeah.
good things in that. So his books are great on a reread if you put like the good 20-year gap between them, I think.
It's got to be over that. I mean, for me at this point, it has to be. And I was for the same reason. Like I was picking up those books, like, oh yeah, man, I want something that keeps me up at night, right?
Yeah.
And I'm reading that, and it's like the big bad is this little son coming back. It's like, come on, you're a grown ass man, you can take that kid, you know.
Punch that kid in the face.
Like, come on, how scary is this? You could take that kid. Like I'm telling you, it hit me right here. I'm convinced I have to reread it, and I think that's one of the strengths of him as an author. If you come to his work at different points in your life, it means completely different stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a wizard like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love his character stuff because I think he puts so much of who he is into those characters. Like, when he was dealing with success and excess, it was in there. I mean, his life's journey has been in there.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I never get tired if he makes his protagonist an author. That's fine with me. It's fine with me. You write what you know.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. When are you gonna read Holly? When are you gonna get to it?
I don't know. Whenever. It's not like I'm like people ask me why you boycott. I'm not boycotting it. I don't do that. That's stupid. I was just like
You did pick it up, right? I know you did.
I don't need a fifth Holly book. A fifth Holly. So you're telling me now that Holly has more appearances in the multiverse than the fucking Man in Black? Come on.
Oh,
So
that
it's
can't
just-
be true. No way that's true. That can't be true.
No, probably not. There probably is more. If you count The Stand, you count What Eye is the Dragon, you
Yeah.
count Talisman. I think if you count,
I-
it's got to be at least more than half of the Dark Tower books.
yeah, he's in. He's
Yeah,
got to be.
that's probably not
He's
true, but
no.
yeah, I don't know. It just I wish he would go back to writing what his strengths are, and his strengths are not the crime detective novel. And the thing was, like, I think he really got into Bosch and Michael Connelly books, and he said, I can do that. And he can, because he's a great freaking author. He can do it. Like, I love 2/3 of the Bill Hodges trilogy. I just wish
Yeah.
he'd stopped there. Now he just keeps doing it.
I dug the trilogy. The first two were definitely more fun though. I will,
Third one was, what are you doing, Steven? Come on. God.
there's a couple times, man. There's even some stuff in it that I'm like, what are you? Where?
Those
What?
books were so great because they were grounded. They were realistic. It was like in the real world. And the third one, it's like he just couldn't help himself.
Yeah.
Well, people were expecting me to do something a little freaky, and
Yeah.
it just, man, what a
I mean,
waste.
I don't.
But
I give it up
I
to.
love that trio, Bill and Jerome and Holly. I thought it was great, but I never was like, you know what? I need to see more of just Holly. No, they worked great as a tandem.
Well, you get Barbara and Jerome and Holly. They're in there.
Are they okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. She was okay in Outsider. I liked her okay in Outsider because she was kind of a side character and it was just fun, cool. I never thought I'd see that character again, but now it's just like, so really, it's gonna keep going with this. Okay, all right.
Man, he's smitten with her for some reason, man.
I guess.
I have not
I'd rather
read.
he write Tommy Knockers 2 than write another freaking Holly book.
I haven't read If It Bleeds. Is that worthwhile? Is she good in that
I
one?
didn't read it either. I didn't
You
read
haven't
it.
read it?
I'm really if it's the novella or the short stories, I'm always like, I'll get to them when I can. But usually his novels, I make a point to read day one. This is the first one I haven't
Yeah.
in a while. So it's I think it surprised some people. And that's
I
why they're
think
like, why are you boycotting it? Are you boycotting it because he talks about the virus or something name? No, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he always talks about current events in his books. That's not going to be any reason. I'm not invested enough in the Holly.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not going to lie. I think I was burned a little bit by Fairy Tale. I felt like that one had a chance to be really something great, and I felt like he took his foot off the gas in the second half of that book. So
Yeah, I did like Holly Britton. I did like it. I liked it. I give it up to the guy for trying different things. Even this late in his career, he's going to try different things and do different things and stretch
yeah,
himself.
but he's tried this now. Let's go back to some other things. Just give me a nice slice of life story, something fun again. I don't know.
I liked Holly.
Not
It worked.
everything can be 11/22/63. I get that, and I doubt that he's got another book like that in him. But I think it just when Later came out, Later just completely blew my face off. I thought, okay, damn, he still got his fastball. He's going to give me something really, really good. Billy Summers was just okay.
I
Fairy
haven't read
Tale
that.
was all right.
I did not like
and
Fairy Tale. I liked the first.
the first half was great.
I liked the
So
first
good.
half, but it's
Yeah.
like the first half is great. Like I loved it, but at the same time, it's not the book I bought. Like it's just dealing with his characters, which I could read that all day long. I think he's amazing at it, but it's like he didn't get to what the book was until so late. Then he didn't have time to wrap anything. I mean, it just was. The second half just seemed.
Heidi, it seemed like he just wanted to write a different book, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh well, you just took Radar out of it, and I like Radar a lot. And you just
Oh.
bench that character. Don't bench the animal companion. Heidi, you're right. Tom Knockers was a creative idea. It was just the trying to swim through the mountains of cocaine to get to the main plot of that story. It was the execution. It was the execution on that one. That's why I give Tommy Knockers, where it's just like, dude, it's no kidding why that intervention happened right after that book with his family. I wonder. They probably read the book. Like, wow. So someone's going to eat another character with their vagina tentacles, huh? Okay, maybe it went a little too far. Yeah.
Sit down, Stephen. Sit down. We're all here. We all love you. Come.
It was like, I think after he got away with what he got away with he said, I can do anything I want now. And that's when his wife said, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah. Well, and people he tried to get away with some stuff in it that people didn't dig all that much. I have not tried Adrian Tchaikovsky, but I have bought my first Adrian Tchaikovsky. It is on the
Children
shelf.
of Time I forgot to mention that. I'm doing Children of Time this month. So yeah, I've got a busy month ahead of me.
Oh my God, Mike, how are you going to do that?
I've got vacation time. I'll have extra time. I mean, that's why I
right.
got everything done this month. I mean, I'm going to probably read like 2 Expanse books. I don't know, like a Driss book and something else I forgot while I was on my vacation. So it's great. It's It's great when the kids aren't here and there's no one here uninterrupted. I could have like good 5-6 hours of uninterrupted reading time. That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
You don't
you
get those
can.
very often.
No, that's rare. I bought whatever. I know it's the second book's coming out in 2024, The House of Open Wounds. I bought the first one of that because it's like I want to try this author out. This is 2 books. I can commit to that. I can do that. I can see what he's like in 2 books.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that'll be coming up. Who know? I don't know. Who knows? Yes, I am looking forward to it, but I don't know when.
The question I get asked was, how much do you read per day? And you have kids, but you'll probably understand this. It doesn't work like that. Kids don't respect those rules. So, one day I might read 200 pages. The next day I might read 2 pages. That's just
Yeah.
kind of how life works when you have kids and stuff and a full-time job.
Well,
So,
your kids are a full time job right now. My kid, I'm way. I mean, not that there's ever a finish line. I don't think there's ever a finish line. I remember I was 30 something calling my mom like, "Oh my god," but my kid is 20. My kid's 23. You're still on a full time job,
oh yeah,
and you got. I
11
think
and 8, and one of them is special needs. So yeah, it's
yeah.
always a lot of work. Yeah.
So that can eat into life in a lot.
That's what I try to tell people. It's like, it doesn't work like that. I look at my schedule and say, when am I going to have free time? How much do I think I can do this month? And, a lot of times you can see when I do my recaps, so I was like, hey, I just didn't get to it, or I had to move that off the schedule, or I just had to move it to later in the month, or, I've got to move something on, because it just, real life does still get in the way sometimes. But,
Yeah.
again, the biggest thing is, well, how do you read so much? It's like, I'm simple. I don't doom scroll social media, and I don't watch that much TV, man. You'd be surprised how much you get done when you drop those 2 things. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people are like, oh, I started watching just TikTok, because it's only 60 seconds. Yeah, but if you watch like 100 of them,
Yeah, that's a
you just watch
lot.
the movie.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just watch the movie. So it's just like, that's not any different. So
No.
I don't do the TikTok thing. I don't do the Reels thing. I think those are just a time sink. I'll use Twitter, like when there's a football game on, is when I'll really be on there a lot. Or, if you just got some downtime, just want to just kind of hang. But really, it's almost more of a marketing tool for me. But
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't just scroll it constantly. That's like a lot of times people are like, you don't know what's going on in the world. I'm like, no, I don't. So.
Yeah, it's all that stuff is beyond me. I'm old.
Put the phone in a different room while you read, and you'll get a lot of reading done.
Yeah, I mean, I try to hit 100 pages a day, like, that's not a crazy number, right? If you hit 100 pages a day, you can get through a lot of books in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
mean, there's one show I catch like the day it comes out is For All Mankind. That's like the only show I
Same
have
here.
right now.
Yeah. Tomorrow, new episode
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got up Wednesday and like went immediately because I thought it was, but for some reason they pushed it back for the holidays, I think. But that's like my one show that I'll catch like day of.
Yeah.
I want to see it,
Yeah,
And
same here. That one's great. That's the thing is, I binged the first 3 seasons, so now I'm just like, oh my god, I need more, I need more, I need more.
oh,
So
you
good.
gotta wait.
Such
You
a
gotta,
great show.
yeah, yeah.
Ronald
That
D.
and
Moore's amazing.
since he really, I haven't watched the Outlander stuff. Have you?
I think we watched like a couple seasons. We liked it okay. It was just one of those things where we didn't stop watching everything. But the thing was, I think they marketed that show really, really poorly. Is they made it look like it was, I hate to say it, like a just for girls show.
Yeah,
It's kind of what they made it look like. It
yeah,
really did. And I watched. I was like, no, it's really good. I mean, it has a, a lot of stuff about the time period and stuff that's really, really interesting. I think for anyone, I don't think that. So I think it's really weird how they chose to market that. But I just kept telling myself the whole time, like, Ronald D. Moore is an amazing writer. There's just no way that he said, I'm going to eliminate half of my audience. There's no way that he did that. So I think that was just stars being terrible at marketing.
he's not in charge of that. Like he's not in charge of marketing. But there are episodes of Battlestar Galactica. It's like that's one of the best hours of TV I've ever seen. Like
I start rewatching that show like every couple of years, and I'll watch like the first season, and then I'll just kind of pick up later and stuff. But yeah, I got Madison to like watch the whole thing this year, and she was really into it. And then she kind of like trailed off. I don't know how she felt about the ending, but I don't think we actually even talked about it. But I know for a long time there, she was like, "Wow, this slaps." And I'm like, "You're
yeah,
correct. It's
yeah.
very, very good."
So Madison is now one of your best friends, right?
Hmm?
I've heard you say. Like that is what has been so amazing for me. Like since, and I've only done this, I guess, 7 months now, 6, 7 months or something. It's like like the people are freaking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like this always so long in my life where no one I knew read the same stuff that I read. I mean, they were more like the Clive Cussler, Tom Clancy, Nora Phillips, stuff like that. Nora Roberts,
Right.
all those kinds of books and stuff. They didn't read anything that I read. They were like, "Oh, have fun with your little fairy books." It's kind of how they treated me, And so I think when I started this, I realized, hey, wow, there are actually more of us out there, and you just find like-minded people. You have lots to talk about. It's really cool. It's been a really great community for that reason.
Yeah, it's been so amazing to me because I mean, I don't know if it's your experience as well, but you get to a point like you've built businesses or jobs, families, all that kind of stuff. You kind of look around, it's like, hey, what happened to all my friends?
Yeah, they have kids and jobs and stuff of their own to take care of.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's like, man, having people to actually talk books with, and everybody is this so unbelievably giving and kind, and I mean, it's been just an amazing ride for that reason.
Yeah, you always get people like trying to pretend like me and other booktubers are like rivals or something, and I'm like, man, I have nothing bad to say about another creator, not a single word to say bad about another creator. I was like, well, I think we always try to lift each other up, and I think that's what's great about it. And I did, I'm sports podcasting, sports writing, media writing, and podcasting stuff, and it was way different. It was so cutthroat.
Oh,
Whereas this, it was like everybody's just trying to help each other out. I've
yeah.
always appreciated that.
Yeah. Well, I come from the theater world, and it's like, yeah, nobody's happy for anybody.
Yeah.
No
We
one's
don't
happy.
want our friends to have success. Yeah.
No. Oh my God, no. It kills you with envy if somebody else gets success. It's like, that's why it's like, oh my God, everybody's seriously happy for anybody when something good happens. Like, that's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice change. Yeah, I think what really shocked me when I started, because like I said, I did sports and media before this. And any comments you get on that stuff, completely vitriol. It's just awful. They just basically telling you that they want you and your whole family to die in a fiery car crash. It's like terrible, terrible stuff. And so when I started doing this, and I was like just blown away by how the comments were so positive.
Yeah.
And I went and told my wife about it. I was like, I just cannot believe how positive the comments are. And she looks at me and she's like, really? You don't know why? I'm like, what? She's like, stupid people don't read. I was like, okay, all right, that makes sense. But yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I've had the exact same conversation with my wife as well. But so let me hit you up with one more thing. Like, are you like me? I don't go to the theater much anymore. Like, it's hard for me to get out and go see it,
I mean, I'll do it for like Dune.
That's
something
what I
I
was
feel
gonna
like I
say.
want to see on the big screen, something that's just, you're going to want that experience. Like, that's why I went and saw, I know nobody likes to complain about it, but my kid really wanted to go see Avatar, Way of Water.
Yeah.
And he loved that first movie. And so he really wanted to go see it. And I was like, we'll watch it here. It's 3 hours. We'll just wait and watch it at home. I was like, you know what? I don't want to miss that on the big screen. Let's go do that. And we did. It was beautiful. We loved it. And it was a great time. And I'm glad we got to do that. So I think about back when, like, I missed, big movies at the theater. Like, I didn't see Terminator 2 at the theater, and I regretted it. Like, my whole childhood, I regretted it. I didn't go see Terminator 2 at the theater, And that's why when Jurassic Park came out, I was like, there is not a force on this earth that's going to keep me from seeing Jurassic Park, because I don't want it to be my new Terminator 2. So if it's like that kind of movie where it's going to be a visual feast, you want to see it, you want to hear it in that sound, I'll still go do it. But yeah, to go watch like the new indie darling, no, I don't need to pay $28 to go see that. I'll wait and catch it on digital here in a couple months. But I mean, there's big movies that I like. The Mission Impossible, I didn't get to go see it, and I love that franchise just because, kids this age, it's a lot of logistics. Find someone to watch the kids, find time when you can both do this, find that stuff. Then you get to overpay for the ticket prices and all that. And just like it becomes like a big old hassle. It's not like it used to be. Movies come out and streaming in like 10 weeks now, or on demand.
Right. And I can wait 10 weeks. I mean, I used to, when I was younger, I lived at the theater. Like, I went at least once a week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shoot.
I went at least once a week.
30, I went all the time to every damn movie.
Yeah. So are you going?
Yeah, right. I will not miss Dune 2. You couldn't. Yeah, I remember when everybody was scared to go see Dune Part 1 because of the virus shall not be named. I was like, I will go there in a still suit. I don't care. I'm not missing Dune on the big screen. I'm going.
So are you going to go day one? You going day one to see Dune 2?
I might go at midnight. Are you kidding?
Oh, I don't think I've done that since.
I think we got one. I haven't done that since Lord of the Rings, honestly.
I was gonna say it's been a minute.
I was much younger back then because here's the thing: is like, I remember we went to saw Return of the King, and it's over at like 4 a.m, and I went to work at 6. You know, so you could do that stuff when you're in your 20s. You know,
Yeah.
but
You can just skip a night when you're
but
in
they
your
do
20s.
have those 70mm IMAX screens out here, and I'm definitely going to go see it. So it's gonna be great. Can't wait. And the thing is, like, my oldest wants to go now. You know, because he's watched the first one, he's interested enough to want to go, and I'm like, all right. So the next step is, Dad, can I borrow the book off of your shelf and read it? But I'm not holding my breath for that one.
How
He's
old
gonna be
is
an
he?
audiobooker, I think. He loves the way I read to him.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he's also has a little bit of dyslexia. He doesn't like to struggle with that. And I was like, dude's confusing enough without dyslexia, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool if you want to kind of share it that way. But yeah, he's definitely, I think, going to be an audiobooker for that reason.
How old is he again?
11.
11. See,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a couple years away from doing.
I mean, I think I was, but I also think back when I was 11, if I had all those, if I had the iPad, if I had Netflix, I don't think that I would have been reading as much as I did.
Are you kidding me? I would never have cracked a book.
Like, oh my God, your TV's in color?
I think about when I was a kid, I was either holed up in my room reading or I was outside all day. Like I would leave the house at 6:37, meet up with my friends, and not be back until 9:30 at night.
I told about that. This past summer, I was like, they didn't go out and play with their friends once the whole summer. And I was like, wow, how things have changed, right?
Yeah.
You know, back in my day, we could do that, guys. We could totally back in my day you, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I say, I beat you. I bet I got a good decade on you. All right, Mike.
Hey, Heidi, I've said hello to you several times. I would never ignore you in a live stream. I definitely don't have a cliquish feeling where I feel like I can only respond to people that I know.
No.
Because, you know, it's John's live stream. I don't want to take it over by you.
No, take it over because I've been talking to Mike. Heidi, I would, you know, everybody on the live stream, I'm the worst at multitasking in the world. It's so, I would not, nobody's getting clicked. Jacob set this up to where everybody's on screen all the time and nobody's getting clicked because I don't think I have the wherewithal to click people and highlight them while I'm talking to somebody.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that was a thing, saying that would say that you get completely ignored in a live chat if you don't have a YouTube channel. There are built-in clicks. I mean, I joke all the time about how, like, wow, it seems like I never get invited to any of these things. You know, all these people I talk to all the time always have their little powwows and get-togethers. I was like, I'm never invited. You know, so. And the thing is like, this is going to sound completely just like ludicrous. It's almost like, oh, you've got a big enough audience. You don't get to play in all the reindeer games. I'm like, what? It's like, I don't feel like I'm any different now than when I had 500 subscribers. You know, I'm always willing to help people out. I've always tried to talk to everybody. I try to do my best to communicate as much as I can. Just some days I'm just like, look, there's already 300 comments in that video. There's no way I'm able to keep up.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, you know.
So has anything changed? You hit 100,000. Like, is it, what was that?
I got a little check mark next to my channel name. That changed.
A check mark.
Yeah, a little check mark. Yeah.
But did you give yourself a minute to go, well, I never saw that coming, or good job or anything? Or did you just like, yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is.
I mean, I had, you know, it's peaks and valleys with channel growth. So you never really know. You never get that feeling of, oh, I'm for sure going to get this. I mean, I think once I was over like 60, I was like, it's probably going to happen someday. I'll probably get there. You know, it slows down, it picks back up and stuff like that. And it was always a fun goal, but it was never like the reason that I did it, you know, but sure, it's fun. It feels like an accomplishment. It was great getting that silver play button. Felt like an accomplishment. But it doesn't like getting a trophy, you know? I mean, that's essentially what it is. Who doesn't like that? You know, it feels like a nice achievement and stuff. And, you know, I wouldn't mind one day, you know, in my career moving over to like communications and stuff like that. And that's a nice thing to say, you know, hey, look, I, you know, write, produce, and edit all this stuff on the internet. And, you know, it's not like it used to be. You used to say, oh, I have a YouTube channel. They just kind of, you know, in the workplace, they kind of snicker at you about it. And be like, okay, yeah, my kid's got one of those. It's taken a little more seriously now, I think, you know, to the point where people can put it on the resume. You know, I think you can without. Because I get all the time people like, oh, your real job, do they know what you do? I'm like, my real job had a problem be going on the internet and talk about books. I don't think it's the company I'd want to work for, you know? So, but, you know, hey, you do need to be careful what you say out there because they'll find you. they will get you.
I would think building a
About that.
channel to that extent, absolutely, you could resume it. I would think so.
Mm.
You know what? I
Oh, yeah.
try not even to look. Like it's my thing is like I've met such amazing people from other channels and just people leaving comments. Like I'm still at that point where I can answer every comment, and that's awesome. It's amazing getting to talk to people, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't even check the.
I
I
just
try
have to
not to
choose.
check
I'm
the
like,
tab.
do I respond to every comment there, or do I respond on my Discord, or do I not read right now because
Yeah,
I'm going to respond to all these comments? It's just like I try to. It's just sometimes it just you get behind. And you can't. And I mean that was one of the things like I prided myself on when I started. Was like I would respond to every single comment,
yeah.
And it's just, sometimes when you're putting out 3 or 4 videos a week, it can kind of add up.
Yeah, well, and with that many comments, man. I mean, I'm sure you can do it for a while. It just probably just hits a point where it's not, not possible.
If it's a video that isn't performing that well, I'll try to and see if that'll kind of get the engagement going a little bit like that. But
Yeah,
if it's a video like today's where I've already got like 300 comments, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to even get into it. You'll start on like the most popular comments or the most the top comments, I guess is what YouTube calls them. I mean, you'll respond to those, and then it's just like, okay, well, now I feel like I'm neglecting other people and stuff, and you start to feel guilty.
yeah,
It's like I don't need to be doing this to myself. So, but yeah, I mean, that's why I started this, was to find people to talk to about these things.
that's
So it
exactly
sounds
it.
really, really foolish to say, oh, yeah, but now I'm not going to respond to those comments. Because I remember back in those years of podcasting, I was like, I just wish, because here's the thing about podcasting, is a difference, is because of the way that like iTunes is set up, there's no commenting board or anything like that. So people could be listening, and we had like loyal listeners. Like we would see, every single week how many people would download the episode and stuff. It was like, but they never said anything to you.
Yeah,
So you never got like any feedback. So it was a different kind of animal than this is, where this, it's like, okay, wow. So people are listening to what you're saying. They are interested in talking to you. They do know like several of the things that, you've brought up in the past. They kind of almost know like your personal history. It's really, really cool. So it's been fun. It's been much more fun than podcasting. It's a lot more work than podcasting. It's a
yeah.
lot more work.
Well, I just make Jacob do everything.
That's not, I get all the time. People are like, oh, how much help do you have on your channel? Like, none. So I was like, have you not seen the videos? I don't do anything fancy on them. So yeah, it's just
I don't know. I don't know how it's possible. If one person had to do everything, like I don't see how that's possible. There's no freaking way. No freaking way.
There are some days where I saw somebody ask earlier, did you ever like stress about, how much content to put out? And like, if I ever feel like it gets bad, I'll just, do like I'm doing now. Just get out to like, 2 videos a week and don't overthink it,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always said I was going to do this as long as it was fun, and the communities helped keep it fun.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy. I mean, that's why I'm in year number 5. I wouldn't be in year number 5 if I wasn't.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I did it because it's like I missed the time when I had people to talk comics with or books with or movies or TV with. And it's like, I was watching other people. It's like, I get my voice out there. And it's like, I remember the very first comment I got. And every comment I get, I still get just excited. It's just excited. It's like, oh my God, people want to talk to me. That's amazing. So
Yeah, I remember the first time I had a video go over 1,000 views, I was like, whoa.
oh yeah. Like, oh my God, that was insane. I mean, everything still hits me. Like I hope to answer every comment as long as I possibly can. I answer comments like because I have nowhere near.
I gotta say, we were messaging back and forth on Twitter earlier. You respond like really quick. I was like, wow, I feel like a loser. Because here's the thing: is like most of the messages I get on Twitter, they go straight to like the filter.
Yeah.
Because it's usually most of the time, unless it's somebody I follow, I don't ever see it. And I that's why I got people like, oh, Mike's been ignoring me, and I'm like, you guys, I tell them all the time, email me. I'm an old-fashioned guy like that. Email me. I've got my email out there. It's not hard to find. So
yeah. No, I'm going to answer every comment right away as soon as I possibly can because Jacob says your thumbnails look really nice though, Mike.
Thank you.
Jacob agonizes over thumbnails.
I do. Well, here's the thing: is like people ask me, like I was on Philip's channel. He's like, "Oh God, the thumbnails must be like a lot of work." I was like, "It's just an app, dude. I'm finished with those thumbnails in like a couple of minutes. It's really not hard. You really just put there and you just use a background remover with your finger. It's it. It's really all it is."
Couple minutes, son. Couple minutes. That's what he spends.
Hey, yours looks clean. Here's the thing though: is like everybody that talks about that, like, but I struggle with so many other things, like lighting. I will never get my lighting perfect because I don't have the best recording space. this is just a spare bedroom. And the way my desk is, which takes up about 40% of the room, it's hard to get the seating and the lighting's just right. So that's why I look at like what Philip just did. He did like his change in his room, and his lighting looks perfect. And I'm just like, I wish I could do that. I also wish I was as handsome as Philip. That would probably help too. But I'm just saying that, like, no matter what I do, I'm always going to have rings under my eyes because I can never get the lighting just right. It's just because of the way the room's set up. So
I talked
just one of the things, like, I have to depend on my voice to carry that, to make people past that.
I talked to Philip the other night after I read his first book, and I told him this. It's like I almost put on a jacket because I knew he would have one on. And it's like I almost put on a jacket. It's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try. I can't. I'm
gonna like give you guys a peek behind the curtain. Me and Philip talked about Realm of the Elderlings recently, and once we ended the call, and we're off camera, he immediately takes a jacket off while he talks to me. So all part of the character, guys. It's all part of the characters. Like me, I don't even like coffee. It's just part of the gimmick. Not really. I like coffee too much.
Is that coffee? No, I'm
actually that's much just water, but yeah, I already drank a coffee.
I'm sitting here in my jammies and slippers. So,
Philip, it looks great, man. Your setup looks like almost like CGI. It's so pretty. So yeah, I'm jealous.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, I told you I was going to keep you for an hour. I don't want to keep you up any longer.
Every time I think
What?
Am I rambling now? Am I keeping you longer?
No, you're not keeping me up. I didn't want to keep you up. I don't want to.
I'm on vacation, baby. Great.
I'll go take over.
Christopher, wearing glasses has been a nightmare. Like when I first started, I didn't need my glasses to record. And everybody now is like, "What? You don't need your glasses on to see while you're recording?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do, because I won't even notice the camera turned off or something." Like, dude, I went completely blind in the 4 years since I've been doing this. So it's just that age where your sight goes.
I have to have glasses to do this, or I couldn't read what's on the chat. Like there'd be no chance.
I know I'm this age where you're doing this all the time. Like that's what I'm doing all the time. So like when I'm this close to the computer screen, I have to take them off. But when I'm like recording and I'm far away, I need to have them on.
Have you succumbed yet and done the bifocals to where you just or do you just because I have to have 2 pair of glasses. I won't cave. I won't do it.
No, I so stupidly just do this all the time, and then they'll fall off my head, and I'm just like, yeah, those are kind of expensive to be replacing because you keep putting them on your head. And my wife said, you need to get like the little grandma thing where you just like hang them down here, and I'm like, I'm not ready to accept that yet.
Yeah, ebook versus paper, Mike. What's your preferred?
I mean, I still prefer physical, but I won't lie, it's clutch in bed because it's so light. I don't smash my face reading, Brandon Sanderson tomes if I fall asleep while I'm reading, and the fact that I can read it in complete dark and not keep my wife, because my wife would always complain about turn your lamp off. I'm like, I can't. I'm reading. Well, go read on the couch. And I'm like, So
do you
now
start
that I can
feeling
read that complete dark, it doesn't bother me.
When you're holding that giant book in bed, I start feeling it right in here. Like,
oh yeah. Get that good old tennis elbow. That's why I got one of these now. Yeah, good old tennis elbow. It's great. And it's not from tennis. It's from holding too many books.
Let's see. Coming from Mike's channel, what's the elevator pitch for Talking Story? What are some of your favorite genres and series? Oh, wow. Okay. I read a lot. I'm kind of late to fantasy. I read a lot of horror for a long time. I'm kind of late to fantasy, so I'm catching up on the Cosmere and Joe Abercrombie and everything. So if you want to join me on that journey, I'm kind of behind everybody else. My favorite writers, I would gotta say probably Robert McCammon, David Mitchell. My favorite book of last year was A Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel, one of the best time travel books I'd ever read. So, I mean, it's a kind of a mishmash of what everybody else is reading, because that's what I have not been reading as I'm trying to catch up, and then some of the old favorites that I have been reading for a long time that I bring to it. And I mean, I do a lot of what Mike does, man. I review every once in a while, list, and I basically kind of built it from watching The Master,
Definitely not the master, but I would call me intermediate. How's that? That's pretty good. I'll accept that.
I would call you the master. It's like you say, you're always going to have rings. Your light's not perfect, but that's not why people tune in, man. They tune in because it's you.
I joked about that with someone. I was like, if your content's good, people will come regardless of what it looks like. Because like I had 10,000 subs and I was still using a webcam. and like sometimes like the audio didn't even match my lips, So you stay consistent and you keep putting out good content. People will show up and they'll encourage you to upgrade your equipment. And that was with me. It's like I got to make sure this is something I actually want to do on the regular before I spent that kind of money on a camera. That's kind of where I was. So
Yeah.
I put it off for a long time.
So
Probably longer than I should have.
have you done Station 11, Mike?
I don't know what that is.
Station 11 is brilliant. Emily John St. And what's her God?
Oh.
Emily St. John Mandel. Station 11. You should put that on your list, man. There is an amazing.
I'll add it to the list.
There's an amazing. No, wait. There's an amazing adaptation on HBO. I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes, and they did a great job. I know you rail against adaptations. Called Station 11.
Okay.
It's a post-apocalyptic thing and the importance of story of us of humans overcoming it. It's amazing. I think you'll really like it. Okay. And they do a great adaptation, so you get a real feel of what the book was.
Okay. Here's the thing: is like a lot of people have been talking about, oh, Mike, why don't you watch this show on Disney Plus? And why don't you? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. So I'm like, now it's pretty much if it isn't on Apple TV or HBO, I'm probably not watching it. That's pretty much I just those 2 streaming services are mostly, and sometimes Netflix is pretty much what I watch at this point. So yeah, I'm over the house for mouse.
I got to thin out. I have to thin out my stream. I have too many.
It was time where I was really, really bad with it. And I think it's like about like 2015 was about the time where I was just like, I'm going to watch less TV and read more books. And they just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's gotten bigger every year. So,
yeah. And I'm doing
that. And then I bet
now.
you find people. So it was for the better.
Yeah. And I'm doing that now. And I'm still paying for all the streaming. And I'm not watching that. I'm like I say, AMC can go, man. I had it for Walking Dead. And I'm off that bandwagon. Dial of Destiny is on Disney for you, Mike.
I don't have Disney Plus anymore, so we were watching Mandalorian, and once the kids decided they didn't like Mandalorian anymore, I was like, zip, gone. That's one more streaming service I don't got to pay for.
How long did you stay with it?
We liked the first 2 years, and then it took forever for season 3 to come out. And I think the kids made it through the 3rd episode, and they just like they looked like I was holding them hostage. I was like, dude, you guys don't have to watch this. I thought you wanted to. And boom, they were up the stairs. And I was
really?
Like, all right, I guess that's over.
I wasn't blown away by this last. Yeah, for the life of me, I can't understand how you messed up a Boba Fett show. Like, that was so bad. And it's like, that should be one of the best. That should write itself.
Same with Obi-Wan. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
What the hell was that, guy?
How can you mess that? How can you have? Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started. But
yeah, no, I don't want to have to start talking about Wheel of Time and Rings of Power. We ain't got time for that. Nobody got time for that.
I watched season 1. I haven't watched season 2 of
Same.
Wheel of Time. I don't know if I will. It's
so funny. Is me and Madison tried to stay positive on that for as long as we could, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and we're just like, I can't do it anymore. Yes, we didn't even do season 2, so we decided to do House of Dragon instead, which was pretty good. So it worked out okay.
House of Dragons was good. Yeah. I'm excited for season 2 of that.
Who knew you hire intelligent people who love source material, and it's pretty good. Weird how that works.
I thought that's what we had with Game of Thrones, and then we got to the last couple of years, and it's like, what happened?
They ran out of source material. They thought they were better writers than the writer. Whoops.
I mean, they had to have George on speed dial. I mean, you had to have been able to check in.
I don't think it was a happy breakup between them.
You don't think so?
I mean, George is too much of a gentleman to come out and say it, but you can kind of read the tea leaves where he's basically saying, like, they decided that they didn't need him anymore, that the show was big enough on their own. It's because of them, not because of George. And he said peace. Yeah, so.
Yeah. So do you think we'll ever get wins a winner?
Yes. Maybe we'll get wins. I don't think we'll get Dream of Spring. You
don't think it'll finish? You think the publisher will cash in and hire someone to finish it?
I think he's got it something in his contract where he says ain't nobody going to finish it. I think he's going to take that to the grave with him. I don't think he's going to let anybody finish it. I don't
What
know
else?
like how the logistics of that work after you're dead, but I guess if whoever's handling his estate, his wife or whoever after that, I guess it's up to them. I don't know. I tried to think about it. Kind of that tiny little sliver of hope still. But it's just like you look at. I mean, guys, I've been waiting on that series since there was only 3 books out, and it's like it's gotten longer every time. 5 years, 12 years. I was like, I don't imagine he'll put this one out. Then it's only 2 years. So yeah.
I mean, it's still one of my favorite series of all time.
Oh,
Like
it might be my favorites.
I mean, it's top three. I don't know. I haven't made my list yet. I'll probably do it by the end of the year. But it's like, I mean, I think that. Thank you, Christopher, and the last person as well. I mean, I'm not mad that I read them. I can't get upset. Like, I can't make the guy sit down and finish it.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, I'm happy the time I had with it. I just completely write off the last couple of years of the show. I just don't even count that. But
Yeah. I remember it's kind of funny as I was like so upset, and it's when the show was still pretty much like at its peak. At least I think. I mean, people like that revisionist history now, and they like to pretend it was never good after like season 3. And like, oh, okay, remember you guys like counting the minutes until the season 8 premiere, but okay, keep telling that lie. But there was a point where it was going to pass the books, and I was so salty about it that I was like, I'm just going to consider this the official canon now.
yeah.
I think it was about halfway through season 7. I was like, well, not exactly. Which I still mostly liked. I thought there was some ridiculousness going on, but yeah, it is what it is. Oh,
But there were great moments of the show. I mean, there were
no,
great moments of the show. I mean,
absolutely.
I did not, and that yeah, it may be
Before
my
that
top
last
series.
season premiere, there was actual discussions. Is this the greatest show of all time? And lots
Yeah,
of people were saying yes. So don't pretend that it wasn't ever good after season 4. You guys, that was a
yeah,
religion to
yeah.
everyone. So stop pretending.
I mean,
That's
wasn't
where I get.
that? I mean, I feel that was the last show. Everyone like you had to be home. You had to be home. You had to catch it right away.
No doubt.
I
And it's
don't
kind of
think
like
there's.
the end of right before we got to like the streaming era, when everybody just loves to binge everything now.
Yeah,
I mean, there'll be something that will hit for a little bit on like the weekly thing, but it's like still a lot of people still won't watch it, immediately. They'll watch it when they have time. That's
yeah,
just the era that we live in now. So yeah, that's why I stick to sports. Everybody has to watch it at the same time, or else you're
yeah.
going to be. You know the score. Your team loses, you ain't going to want to watch it. So.
I remember a point. I remember Twin Peaks. I had to be in front of the TV when it came on.
Oh
Like,
man, that was something, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, man. Like there, I remember appointment television, and for me, Game of Thrones was it. That was the last one.
I think so. Because even like when Breaking Bad was big, like that was kind of like a snowball effect. It was like it
Yeah,
wasn't even until like season 4 or 5 when like everybody was watching it. It was very very slow to catch up. So I don't think even it was like that. That last season probably was, but even that was still small compared to what Game of Thrones became. Yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
I don't know. We'll see that. I don't know. We'll see that again for a while.
I don't know if we'll ever see it again the way streaming is now. I came to Breaking Bad late, so I binged it all when it was after it was over,
Oh
and
wow, that's nice.
yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
my
talk about
god.
Twin Peaks. I remember that first season was like can't miss TV, and then they revealed who the killer was, and it was
Yeah.
like I don't even want to watch anymore. It was amazing how it went from like absolutely can't miss to like I don't even want to watch. It's
Oh, he
so
just
fast, like
he
overnight.
he let he let his freak flag fly, man. Like it just
Oh, Lynch is
progressively
nuts.
got so weird.
Yeah, Lynch is nuts, man. I always say that Lynch is great, but he does need a buffer. He does need something there to be like, let's kind of reel it back just a little bit. That's why the Twin Peaks revival is like, dude, this is just such bad shit because it's just him unchecked. But
Yeah.
hey, who doesn't love Dale Cooper? I mean, I have the mug,
Oh,
damn fine cup of coffee.
that's
Yep.
damn fine
That
pie.
first season was like some of the best TV ever. It's
That was
so quirky and weird.
a great show. I mean, Breaking Bad as well. Like for me, that's one of my top all times. Like that's so Shakespearean. I love that show.
Yeah, very good. Very good stuff.
So what else? What else is on your all time list? TV all time list, Mike.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love Buffy.
Oh,
24. Most seasons of 24 was really, really great. I never missed that. X Files, I watched that religiously all through high school. Friends, I watched Friends religiously through high school. Married with Children, probably maybe my favorite sitcom ever because it was just so savage. It's basically where you learned all your cut downs for the week was
mm-hmm.
watching Married with Children. And I I've never, I mean, we always talk about like, oh, I liked Simpsons for a long time, then it fell off. Family Guy, I liked it, it fell off. South Park has never fell off for me. South Park has always just been, I said, like, I don't know what's going on in the world until I watch South Park. They'll tell me everything I need to know that's going on in the world. They'll do it with their own brand of humor, but it's just like amazing that this is like almost 30 years and I still find South Park relevant and hilarious today. It's weird.
Yeah. I came to Buffy late too. I was running the comic shop, and one of my regulars came in with the DVD season 1. He said, "Hey, you gotta get in on this, man. You gotta watch
So
this."
good. So good. Yeah.
And I watched them all on DVD, you know. And oh my God, that show was great.
Yeah. Really good. Amazing character writing. Yeah. Yeah. You look like the character arcs for that show, and you look at where someone like Willow was in season 1 and where she was by the end. It's like just completely different characters. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing growth.
Angel,
Amazing.
all of them. I mean, all of them
Yeah.
had quite the ride. You know, and I mean, when you think about it, even Buffy's mom, like even some of the characters around the periphery of like the Scooby Gang had like amazing arcs.
Yeah. Yeah. Except Xander. He was still the same every man.
Xander was, you know, dude, Shaggy's got to be Shaggy, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's
you
it.
can never change Shaggy. He's got one T-shirt.
No,
That's all
the
Shaggy
thing
needs.
is, like, I try to tell people they'll go watch it and they'll think, oh, it looks cheap. Yeah, it was a cheap show. It was they got a shoestring budget, and
Yeah.
the way they got away with what they got away with was incredible. You know what they were able to do on that show. But yeah, it was definitely a time capsule because it was 90s, so some of the lingo or something like that. But what I liked about that when I came, I was like, I'm the same age as these kids, man. This is how we talk. This is how we talk amongst our friends. There was a show. You watch like shows that were on the other time, like Dawson's Creek, and I was like, no one talks like this at this age. You know, I was like, none of y'all look like you're 15. You know, it's really, really weird. But yeah.
Yeah. What about Babylon 5?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Babylon
Oh.
5, Deep Space Nine. I mean, Farscape. I mean, guys, I'm a reader. I was the stay at home on Friday nights and watch everything that was on Sci-Fi Channel at the time. You know, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate SG-1. You know, you could never miss any of these things. So yeah, I'm all about those old sci-fi shows.
Yeah, I remember Babylon 5 was huge for me, man. It's like when it started towards the end to get a little bit squeeze a little bit of Lovecraft into that space opera. I was like, this is good shit, man. This is some of the
Shadow
best stuff.
War is still like
Oh.
some of the best writing I've ever seen on TV, no doubt.
And I mean,
And it was like that was at a time when you didn't see a lot of serialized TV.
Right.
So it was like, wow, you were used to Monster of the Week, Star Trek. So when that came out, it changed the game for me, big time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like so much of that came out of Straczynski's head. Like he wrote so many episodes. He was showrunner for every year. Like that's such a great example of somebody getting their story out there in the visual medium, because I think they were making it on such a shoestring. No, they would just let him do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time, you go back and you watch, yeah, those special effects are going to make you laugh. They were cutting edge when they came out, but I was like, they're hilarious. Like you could do better on Microsoft Paint at this point. That's just,
Oh yeah.
it was just a time period thing. But it's like, but the writing and the acting is unbelievable. And season 2 through 4, like I said, some of the best TV I've ever watched in my life. It's so good.
Season 1's a little rough. It's like
Yes.
that, it's like that book series, you got to get past the first, just hang with it. Just
Season
hang with
one's the
it.
prologue. Yeah, once Captain Sheridan takes over, it's
Yes.
it's full stop. It's amazing. Yeah, I would die for Captain Sheridan, baby. That's my dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Bruce Boxleitner did a great job. That's one of, I think
Tron,
that's one of my favorites.
Tron, baby. I was like, whoa, I haven't seen him since Tron. Yeah, when that first, I was watching that when it was first on TV because I was a big Star Trek Next Gen fan, and I was kind of looking for that next thing like that. And so I saw like that. They had that first. They had like that miniseries movie, The Gathering, I think it was called, of Babylon 5, and I was fully on board. So I was like, whoa, this is almost like we're grown up. They're talking about like sexual themes and stuff. It's like, whoa, this is wild. Stuff you hadn't really seen on Star Trek. So yeah, it was cutting edge when it came out, man. And I think I'm glad it's kind of picked up its legacy over time. I wish they would get it on more streaming services so more people would discover it.
Yeah.
I think it's on HBO now, and that's it.
It's got some new animated flick that's out that I haven't watched yet.
Yeah. It sucks because, like 2/3 of that cast has passed away.
Yeah.
But you can find someone who sounds like them. I think that's the best way for it to continue. And I always said like a lot of stuff like that. You worked in a comic shop, so so things like Buffy found a new life in comics, was able to continue that story. Things like that. I wish that some of these things would come back with like some animated series and just kind of just lean into it and just keep them going. Because you can, even if you can't get that voice actors back, it's easy to find people who can impersonate a voice than, can impersonate them on screen. I
Oh,
think,
no
so.
doubt. Yeah, yeah. I would love to see it, man. Straczynski's busy. He's got a novel coming out here in a couple weeks. January 6th, he has a new novel out.
Yeah, but it was like for a minute there, he was in the running to be the new showrunner of Doctor Who, and I was like, oh my god, that would be incredible. Because he could definitely do something with that, I think. But
I had not heard that.
it was, I don't even think it like was even. I don't even know who started it, but it was just like when I heard, I was like, they're not going to get an American to run Doctor Who. There is zero chance of that happening. So I never really believed it. But that guy's too good of a writer to not really be doing much. I feel like, and then they talked about a Babylon 5 reboot and stuff like that. And I was like, as soon as I heard it was on CW, I was like, nah, that ain't it, dude. So, but
Yeah.
I think that was one of those things that the virus shall not be named kind of killed.
It killed a lot of things, man.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, it did.
A lot of restaurants, a lot of movies. Movies still aren't right, man. Movies are losing so much money.
Yeah, I saw a thing that like Disney lost like $750 million in their movies this year, and I was like, ouch. Yeah. So I tell people all the time, man, nothing's too big to fail. Nothing's too big to fail. And it's and your audience will love you one day, they'll hate you the next, man. You gotta stay consistent. You can't get content. And I think that's what Disney's done. They were like, oh, people are gonna show up no matter what. Then when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and even like some of the biggest, most hardcore Marvel fans had never touched Guardians of the Galaxy. And then when that was a success, they're like, oh, we can make anything now. We can make anything and people come see it. And they did for a while. And then they started being like, we're not really interested in Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels, and the Eternals, what happened to the X-Men? That's what they wanted, stuff like that. So
it could have worked, like I get their B characters, I get it. A lot of your original Avengers are gone. And
well, dude, be honest, like outside of like the hardcore Marvel fans, Captain America and Iron Man, Thor weren't huge before those movies. You know, they were us because we kind of were dorks. We grew up with it. But it's like with casuals, it was no Batman or Spider-Man or Superman. No. It was not.
No,
those movies made them bigger.
Right.
So,
but I mean,
could turn something.
Guardians was great. You put the right guy in charge, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I somewhere along the way, I don't know what happened, man. But like this last season of Loki, I love. It wrapped up. It's a beautiful wrap up to a character arc that started 15 years ago in the movies. Like they wrap up this character amazingly, going all the way back to the first Thor flick. Right? They do a great job. But now I think that character's. I don't know if they're gonna get Hiddleston again. I think it might be wrapped up. It's
what I heard was like they had the wrong person in charge of Loki season 1. And so it lost all of its viewers, and now they got the right person in charge for season 2, and nobody's watching. It's like the same thing with Andor. Apparently, everybody says Andor is amazing, but Disney Star Wars already pissed everybody off so much that the audience left.
Yeah, Andor was really good.
They don't trust them anymore. So yeah, you can poison. If you can poison the Star Wars IP, you can ruin anything. I mean, that's the most successful brand in the history of movies, and no one cares. That's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, John Hiddleston in the Night. Yeah, my wife is a huge fan of that show, and I have not watched it yet. I should actually watch that. She's tried to get me to watch it several times, and I just haven't.
I'm trying to think if I watched anything with Hiddleston that he wasn't Loki. I think Kong Skull Island might be the only thing I watched with him where he wasn't Loki. Yeah, so there we go. Who should be the next James Bond? I know a lot of people want Hiddleston. I'm like,
You know what? I think they should go with somebody that no one knows.
Yeah, young and unknown. And hey, imagine this. Actually, British would be a good idea.
Yeah. No, I totally British, totally young, totally unknown. Somebody that
someone young that you can actually do the stunts themselves.
Yeah.
And can be in that franchise for the next decade plus. Because you don't have to get a new one because the old actors just like, I'm tired. I don't want to do these anymore. It's like Daniel Craig. I was like, I think he was younger than Roger Moore, but he might have looked more like he gave less fucks because he was so old. Or he just looked tired. He just looked like he was tired of doing it.
Yeah. So he was still ripped up though, man. Even for his age, like he was in great shape.
Sure.
I bought it. I bought that he could do it.
I was never crazy about the Daniel Craig Bond like everybody else. I thought that the same reason that people loved his version of Bond was the same reason they hated Timothy Dalton. And I was like, so it's okay. Now, I just think Timothy Dalton was a little early. People weren't ready for that gritty, dark James Bond movie yet.
Yeah.
Because you go back and watch those, I'm like, well, everybody sees these are bad. These are actually quite good. You know, Bond going rogue and just being a completely ruthless killer, like he's supposed to be. I think audiences just weren't ready for that yet. So I don't know. I think Dalton's really disrespected, and he was very, very good Bond, I thought.
I dug Dalton when he was Bond.
Yeah. I've liked all the Bonds for different reasons. I even like the Lazenby movie. I was a big James Bond fan. Yeah, no, I don't imagine he couldn't act, but I was like, but
he was horrible.
Still, it had stuff that I liked a lot about it.
He was horrible. I mean, for me, it's like the Roger Moore years went on too long.
Yeah, I mean, even though that was the Bond I grew up with, I was like, oh, he's really coming back for another one. But View to a Kill, dude, he's like 80. What are we doing? The Bond girl's like 1/4 is it? He had a daughter older than his Bond in real life. Roger Moore had a daughter older than the Bond girl in A View to Kill. I was like, oh my God, it's got to be just uncomfortable.
Yeah. He that went on too long, but he had some great flicks early on.
Dude, I loved Octopussy. I don't even lie. That was like my movie when I was younger. Because that came out like at the same time as Temple of Doom, and I was like, feels like Temple of Doom ripped a lot of stuff off of Octopussy. Yeah, awful name. Awful name, but it was a kick-ass movie. But I think that was the last really.
I have seen Penny Dreadful. He is good in Penny Dreadful.
I almost watched it because of him. I like him, and I'm in love with Eva Green. I think I want Eva Green to marry me. So no doubt.
There's a lot of Eva Green in it.
That's what I've heard. That's why I was curious about watching. That's the only reason I watched that Camelot show is because they left nothing to the imagination. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
was for Eva Green.
Nor do they in Penny Dreadful. But it's it's such an interesting look at the Frankenstein creator and creature relationship in Penny Dreadful. It's well worth checking out, man. Really.
See that with my list of books to read, the only thing worse than that is a list of shows to watch. I mean, I'll occasionally, like I do my TV and movie talk segment at the end of my weekly updates, and I'm always like, I'm talking about shows that people are like, yeah, we watched it like 4 years ago. Like, that's when I get to them. Sorry, So I was like, I was just watching The Leftovers. Like, that's been over for a couple of years now, man. But yeah.
Look, Madison's watching Station 11. All the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, I know. I depend on Madison to tell me what's a really good show to watch. That's basically how it works. Which isn't true because
Lost hit hard for a while, man. Lost me.
Yeah, Lost hit hard when I got that 6th season, I realized they really did not know where they were going with it, and it broke my heart because I was an avid defender of Lost. They know where they're going with it. It's going to be worth it. Just wait, and it was not.
Yeah, towards the end when they're just throwing anything to see what stuck, like it's you guys don't have a plan.
But man, the character writing was so good on Lost, and me, I'm a character guy.
I love the flashback. I love everything about it.
Always solid.
Yeah.
It just when it came to the sticking the landing part, it definitely missed.
Yeah,
it definitely missed.
But that was one I was in front of my TV every time it was on.
And that's the thing is, people talked about how like Lost was like, that the Game of Thrones was like this big global phenomenon. If we had social media the same way when Lost was on, it was just as crazy, at least in all the people I talked to. That was back in the message board days. Remember the message boards? I'd go to Lostpedia and I'd go to like the Lost message boards, and we talk. There were people writing like thesis papers on what was Richard, the guyliner guy. Like, what was he? Was he actually like real? Was he like an alien? Was he actually the smoke monster? We had all these things going on with Lost. There was so much theorizing going on with that show. Man, it was so deep. I mean, I remember breaking down like this 3-footed statue for like 2 years about what that was going to be. It was great times, man.
But didn't that break your heart when you realized the writing room didn't know? Like they didn't know.
It did. No, it did. It devastated me because I really believed. Okay, it was like they was at the end of the 4th season. Like, hey, we've got an end date. The end of the 6th season will be the last season of Lost. I was like, okay, they've got their story figured out. They know where they're going with it. They never knew. Never knew. It devastated me because I really believed. I had faith that they knew where they were going. And that last season was just like, by the 2nd episode, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you stick with it? Did you watch the whole thing?
Oh yeah. We stuck with it. We were very disappointed, but it was a thing. It was like the end of an era. Me and my wife got together like when the show was first really getting big, and that's when we were watching that together. So it was rough. It's rough, but I still think it's one of the best shows I've ever watched. It's just big disappointment. It's like a Game of Thrones where it's like it
Yeah.
was really great for that last year, and it's just like unwatchable almost. And it's made it in hindsight where people detract from it, but that show was huge when it was on TV, and I don't
Oh,
think
that
people
was
give it
massive.
deserve
That was a
because
massive water cooler show. Yeah,
no
no
doubt.
doubt. So, how big of a Shakespeare fan is Madison?
Shakespeare?
Yeah,
I don't know that she is. I don't know. Madison, are you a Shakespeare fan?
she's gonna be. You watch Station 11, you will be.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was that kind of show. Doth they speaketh like this?
When they're doing Shakespeare,
Okay.
there is a
So it's
traveling.
is it like Next Generation, like when they would go into the holodeck and they would
No,
they have
no.
like Victorian stuff, or no?
It's after the apocalypse, and a lot of it follows a traveling group of actors that do Shakespeare in these little towns that are springing back up after the apocalypse.
Okay.
And it's I'm telling you, man, you will love it. It's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal.
If people enough people push me, like I mean, there were people pushing me to watch For All Mankind for like a year, and people that I trusted, and it was just like a timing thing. And I was like, oh, I don't have Apple TV, and a friend was like, yeah, you do. Here's my password. Go watch it. And so I did. And I was, whoa. I think I did that and Severance all in like a couple of days.
Severance was great.
Yeah, I need season 2. Damn it, I need it because
Yeah.
that ending was bullshit.
From what I hear, it's like I don't know. There's some kind of feud going on amongst the creators or something.
Yeah, the original.
I know that the writer's
creators
strike
were
like held it back,
each
but
other.
I don't know.
Jacob's telling me the creator of the show and the
Showrunner.
showrunner hate each other now.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah.
guys, be a motley crew. Those guys hate each other, and they kept going for years. Be a motley crew, okay?
Success, man. It's hard to get over success.
I guess so. I guess so.
But Apple's got really cool stuff. Foundation's pretty good.
Madison, I'm pretty sure you have AT&T. You should get like a free trial or something with your iPhone, or you didn't upgrade your iPhone. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh, did you
Because
watch?
Apple TV, I mean, you will. I tell people all the time, do the 7 day free trial. It's like, but there's like 3 seasons for Mankind. You won't even need 7 days. Trust me, it's that good.
Oh, it is that good.
It's
You'll blow
incredible.
through it. You'll blow through it.
Yeah.
Have you watched Ted
Yeah.
Lasso?
Haven't. I haven't. Here's the thing:
Oh,
is I didn't watch it
dude.
when it started because I was like, I don't like soccer. And they're like, it's cool. Neither does the main character.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
okay.
you don't have to. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. It's all characters. It's all character arcs. It
I
is your
haven't
kind of show,
disliked
Mike.
anything. I haven't disliked anything on Apple TV yet. I mean, Foundation might be my least favorite, and I liked it a lot. So
Yeah.
I was like, anything on Apple TV, they're quality over quantity over there, and I think everything I've watched has been really good.
I mean, Foundation is I can't say it really follows the books all perfectly, but it's interesting. It's an interesting show. I dig it. I
I haven't
watched
watched
everyone.
Monarch yet, but I want to because I'm a big God. Look, Godzilla, awesome. Kurt Russell, I mean, that's an automatic for me. It's got Kurt Russell. I got to watch. I mean, Kurt Russell can do no wrong in my eyes.
My wife for years have said if I ever would go to the other team, it'd be for Kurt Russell. I have been the dude. I grew up. I wanted to be Snake Plissken. Like Kurt
No,
Russell.
Snake. I wanted to be Jack Burton. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, hell yeah. McCready. I mean, it didn't matter. I like
oh,
Kurt Russell. Was
McCready,
the coolest.
best
I mean,
monster movie ever made.
yeah, that's my favorite horror movie. And like even my oldest who did watch the thing, I was like, are you sure it's spooky? And he liked it a lot. And now like every horror movie we watch, he says it's not as good as the thing. I'm like, my man.
He ain't wrong,
So,
man. He ain't wrong. Yeah, no, Jade McCready. Oh, yeah, no, he is actually, and his son is in it as well. His son plays the character when he's young, and then Kurt
oh, no
Russell plays.
kidding.
Yeah, Kurt
Oh,
Russell
okay.
plays the character when he's older, and it's when they first start discovering monsters in the 50s and what's happening now, and it's kind of going back and forth. And if you're a comics fan, Matt Fraction, who's done some really cool comics run, is a showrunner. It's kind of a hot mess, but it's really fun. Like it's
That's what I
really
heard. Like, people were saying it feels like there's room for improvement, but it doesn't feel like unwatchable, but it doesn't feel like that it's reached its final evolution
I
yet.
think
So I'm like,
we
well,
lost
like I
Mike's
said,
audio again.
oh, we're out again.
Yep, nope, there you go. You're back.
Maybe it's telling us it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, that must be it. But you need to check out Monarch. Tomorrow, new episode. Check out Monarch, Mike.
I might right after For All Mankind. I might
All
check
right,
it out.
man. Well,
See if
hey,
it's something to hold my kids' attention.
you know what, Mike? Let me tell you something. There are so many books that I'm reading now because of you, and this whole channel is because of what you inspired me to do, and it has enriched my life beyond what I can tell you. And to spend this time with you, and for you to agree to come on and spend time with me, man, it has been an absolute thrill. I started watching your channel. It's like, dude, I just want to hang out with that guy, and to actually get to do it, it's been amazing.
Well, come on back to Texas, baby. We'll hang out. Come on.
You know what? I got family. I gotta come see. If I get back that way, man, I will hit you up.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, man, thanks so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I don't get these invites as much as people think that I do. So I cherish them when I do get them. So thank you so much.
Oh man, you got a standing invitation. We'll figure out something to where we're reading one of these that we love at the same time, and then we'll grill the author together or something.
All right. Sounds like a plan, man.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Have a great night.
Mike, dude, you're the best, man.
Are we off?
Yeah, we're off, right?